Let's talk about the damn triple cork for a second, because that thing's a freaking meat helicopter that was probably just in
meat helicopter.
Dude, like.
You are listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
That bitch is crazy.
All right, here we go. Another week, another bomb hole. My dog, Stony Budz.
What's up, dog?
Man, what happened today on the way here, man?
Little flat tire scenario at the crib.
We got a flat tire, and you know what? Budz was still on time.
Yeah, which is, I'm pretty much mostly on time, it seems like these days, right?
I was proud of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing stopping Budz, man. Flat tire, he's good to go. But today I am really excited about our guest. We got Mr. Torstein Horgmo. Torstein, what is happening, my friend?
Just chilling, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we are. We're happy to have you on the bomb hole. Our first Norwegian guest, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, what's going on? You're
loving the intro, by the way. Yeah, shout out to Meyer for that one.
Hell yeah,
sick,
glad
right?
you
So
enjoy it.
sick, yeah.
Yeah, he's nice.
Big
with
fan of the show.
Hell yeah,
You guys are killing it.
that's an honor. That's an honor. So, what's going down in? Let's just throw it back to where you're from in Norway. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in, well, in Norway, it's considered a city. It's called Trondheim. It's about 7 hours driving north of Oslo. Comparing it to the U.S., it's a small city, but in Norway, it's one of the bigger ones. It's actually the first city founded in Norway. It's over 1,000 years old. Yes, I was there until I was 15. It's when I moved out.
And then, did you move out to go to school to snowboard and stuff like that? Is that why you moved out, or?
Yeah, I got into like a sports school in a place called Yilo, same place JP Solberg went to, which is why I wanted to go there, I think. But yeah, moved out at 15. That was a big one for my mom, for sure.
Yeah, and then
I
things
bet.
things
Moving out at
started
15.
happening quick. I remember there was rumors of you, because I think we're the same age, but did you used to like crazy kind of train and hike jumps like a maniac, like always like work super hard at a young age, getting good?
No, it was all play.
Really?
Yeah, it was, I mean, I rode a lot.
You rode a lot. Okay.
I rode a lot. When snowboarding came to me, it was on.
Yeah.
So there was nothing else, going on in my brain at the time. So it was all I wanted to do.
You want to kind of dive into some of that stuff you're kind of talking about with the stuff that happened to you at a younger age, some of the stuff you went through? I've heard
Sure.
some things.
Yeah. You heard some things.
I just know. I mean, Ika just gave me an idea of your backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
and
You
said it wasn't that easiest,
told
and
you
that's
told
about
me
it.
you made some calls.
Yeah, I made some
That's-
calls. We
that's
do our
cool.
recon.
Shout out
over
to
here.
Ika, by the way.
We like
Yeah.
to do heavy recon.
Yeah, that's sweet. I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as soon as I started going to elementary school and kind of hanging with other kids, I realized like I was not, like going to be one of the popular kids. Just for whatever reason, I'm sure a lot of kids go through this where they're just like, they feel different, has no clue why, and just is different and has like kind of social anxiety from the beginning because they don't know how like they're fitting in or why they're not fitting in, and there's a lot of questions and like uncertainty, and that was heavy for me for sure. And I didn't really have any friends in elementary school, which was really tough at the time. Didn't really want to be there when I was at school. So if you're sitting there and your teacher's telling you like you got to read this and that and learn this and that, it's like hard to focus when your mind just wants to go home and play video games. That was like kind of a like dark hole to be in. It just kind of set me up for this just being bullied a lot and just being like abused and mentally abused, and both on the physical and the mental game. You kind of like a beaten dog kind of thing, and not knowing how to fight back at all, like not having any sort of confidence or knowing what to do. That put me like in a hole, like in a depression. I was depressed probably.
Yeah.
Like that's probably
Kids
the
are
term,
cruel, man,
the
too,
term
right?
for it. Like
Kids
just
are
being
brutal.
Yeah, kids are brutal, so it's
yeah, there's no filter, there's no like
Yeah.
there's no concern, there's no nothing, which I'm not blaming those guys for that. Like
yeah, they probably had their own problems.
I went
and they
through a
wanted to deal with
time
it.
too where that was like, I wanted to fight back, but I didn't know how. It got really dark to a point where I don't know what to do. Like I felt like it was kind of rock bottom.
How old were
like,
you at this point?
Like anywhere from from 5 years old to between 5 and 12 years old.
Wow.
Before you switch to the next level in Norway, which would be junior high school, maybe.
Yep, that's correct.
Because you do that from 12 or 13 to 15 or 16 when you go on to high school, or our version of that, you know?
Yeah.
So snowboarding kind of just showed up. I found it through my cousin because he got a snowboard, and he was one of the ones in my family that I looked up to. He was a little bit older, and he was like, in my eyes, the shit, you know. And every time we would hang, it was on, and I could like open up and kind of just be whatever around him. And he got a snowboard. I wanted a snowboard. It just kind of showed up, and then there was love there.
Did you
straight
feel
up
acceptance, maybe?
Well, I found something I was good at.
Okay.
You know, I found something I was
You
good
were
at.
good right from the go, huh?
Like, or just, I don't know, nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
You know, like all the bullshit didn't matter there on the mountain. And then through that, I found new friends, like, or friends in the first place, kind of, you know, like real friends through snowboarding. And there was love there. I didn't think about anything else for all those reasons. It was freaking beautiful, man. Like, it was like, finally, it was just like this weight lifted, and I felt like I was just flying. I got a lot of inspiration from snowboard videos. When I wasn't snowboarding, I was just watching VHSs. My first one was The Revival by Kingpin, Technical Difficulties and Simple Pleasures, and there was some Mac Dog, there was some Kingpin, there was some Standard Films. So that was all I would do when I wasn't snowboarding, was just watch snowboarding. And when I wasn't snowboarding or watching it, I would just think about it. Or dream about it.
Do you think that since you had all that like pent up angst from being bullied and having a rough time, that you almost had like a release too, or something like that?
It just gave me kind of a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Where nothing else mattered, you know? The release comes later, because
love a good release.
Always down.
100%. But it allowed me to just put it to the side. You know, but it was still in there, and it just, I think it gave me a lot of fire to like, I don't want to do anything else. This is what I'm doing, right? This is my life. This is all I want to do. Nothing else matters. Like my teachers telling me I'm stupid, or my friends telling me, my so-called friends telling me I'm not going to do, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not going to be, like, that's not a job. Didn't matter, because to me, it was my world was really small at that point, in a really good way.
That's cool.
So I was incredibly lucky to find snowboarding at the time, because the other option was ending it, I think.
Really?
When you hit rock bottom that hard, it's like
it was that bad, huh?
It kind of felt like I was already dead anyways. I didn't come from a poor home or anything like that. Like, we were okay, you know, and I was really fortunate that way. But the mental shit, man, that people can go through, you hear about it a lot, you know, especially these days too.
Yeah, you hear about it a lot now. It's a big issue.
You know, it doesn't matter where you're from, what background you have, or the color of your skin. Like, you can
hit anybody.
That can go really dark. So I was really lucky to find snowboarding, because it kind of got me out of the hole, I think.
Fucking saved your life to a degree, almost. It could be.
I think so. Like, my mountain was real small. It's called Vassfjellet. Fjell means mountain in Norwegian. They would have these like little like regional contests come through, and it got to a point where I was like, maybe, like, I asked like some of my older friends that I looked up to. I remember my buddy Odde and Sigurd. I got to shout out some of those guys, because it just helped me so much. Odde Sandstad, Sigurd Hagen, Morten Salnes, Finn Terje. In my little bubble, they were like my heroes, other than my fantasy heroes, which were in the snowboard movies. They were like, you should enter. It hadn't even crossed my mind to like be competing in snowboarding. I was just like fantasizing in the videos and just doing the damn thing on the mountain. So for me, when a contest came around, I was just like, you know, like, what do I do? Like, should I sign up? Like, I don't know. And then, I don't know, I just signed up. And then there was also like a bus that came from Oslo with people, like kids from that school, the sports school that came down. They were older. They were also entering the contest, because the schools would drive the bus around for those regional contests. And they showed up, and I was like, well, those guys are here. What do we do now? You know? And then I did the contest, and I ended up winning the contest. And that kind of flipped a little switch in me, and I think it flipped a switch in my mom. Like, shout out to my mom too, because Toril.
Give your mom an air horn.
She's an angel. She's just been there. She saw it too when I think when I found snowboarding, or it showed up for me. Then she was like, she just wanted me to be happy, and she saw that this was something.
She
that
saw
made
the
me,
change in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was hyped. I think she was hyped for me when the contest happened. I won the contest. She was like, oh, and I was like, huh?
That's a big deal.
And it was like, okay, maybe this thing is like, maybe there's more to it other than just flying down the mountain.
Gives you some confidence too. It does all kinds of stuff for you.
Yeah, and our mountain was funny, man. It was like we had a little half pipe, like a little 13-foot half pipe, and the shaper would sometimes shape it. Sometimes he would just like take the pipe cutter down the one wall and then just peace out.
Later, guys.
And not do the other wall.
Really?
And it was just kind of like whatever. We made the best of it, you know. That was the
You're only
rails.
hitting one side that day.
Yeah, I remember when they first like got some rails, they were like planted between the end of the run and the parking lot for a long time too, and we kind of just had to build our own takeoffs and make it work and try to like emulate what we saw in the fantasy videos.
Yeah.
JP Walker and Jeremy Jones and all those guys like trying to like just do the same shit, but it worked, you know. Like I think it just ingrained this whole like make the best of the situation kind of thing. The jumps were all right some days, and but most of it was just like riding the bumps and training finders and just hitting whatever we could on the mountain, just using the whole thing, you know. Tight trees, the powder would be good like 2 days out of the whole season, and we just made those days were like very precious, you know.
2 powder days.
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't really know what that was.
Yeah.
Even, you know, it was just like let's
get out
catch
there.
some air,
Yeah.
you know, wherever we can. I guess I'm kind of just going a little
No.
on the chronological
No, that's
side here.
That's dope. It sounds like this is really what.
but
kinda
that can
built
kind
you
of
up.
fast forward to that school, because like that gave me the confidence to apply for the school.
Yep.
But you had
for
to
the
straight
s-
up apply.
Yeah, for the sole reason of getting, I knew it was just a ticket to be able to snowboard more and do less school.
But this
It
school's
was-
pretty prestigious. Like
It's
the
like a
people that come
snowboard
out of it,
school?
like isn't Stahle from that school? And
I think Stahle went there maybe for a year.
okay,
Mikkel Bang, Freddie Ospo. But going into that school, we would start to go to all of those regional contests around the country.
Is this school just a straight snowboard school? Kind of like Stratton Mountain?
No,
school, or
so they had alpine ski racing,
like a winter
Nordic
school?
skiing.
curling.
They did not have curling. They the Nordic, where they also fire the weapon.
Oh, wow.
They have
Yeah,
they
yeah.
carry a rifle and
Yep.
you got to shoot. I think it's biathlon maybe.
Yeah, they do.
They
They ski and shoot. Right?
Yeah, ski and shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot ski.
Shoot, skeet. Skeet.
Love
But
shooting.
out of like we were the smallest classes out of the whole school. Like there was a lot of alpine ski racers and stuff like that. But we would start touring like every weekend in the winter to all these regional events, and I just started like winning almost all of them, I think. In the second year, my good friend Torgeir Barre, his parents were gonna go. They actually invited me to go out of the country to go to Livigno in Italy for the Burton European Open Junior Jam, and they would kind of be my guardians for the trip and talk to my mom, and like they could take care of me. We just went for it, and that was really, really exciting. I remember.
I bet leaving the country for the
Yeah.
first time for snowboarding.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like such a huge like barrier, you know, and being on a different mountain in a different country, like so far away from home. The contest organizer was like, yeah, now you get to ride the big leagues. So you get to ride the pro contest, like the actual European Open with like, you know,
Oh, because you got overall.
Eero Etola and Heikki Sorsa and my European heroes. When we showed up, I showed up 16 to this giant contest in my eyes, and we show up the first morning for the riders meeting, and this guy Drew Stevenson, he was like the starter. He shows up at like 10 in the morning, still drunk, walks into the riders meeting. All right, everybody shut the fuck up. This is how it's gonna go. And I remember that so vividly, because you're just like a little kid in the corner, like so excited. And it's like, this is how it works, huh? Okay. And all my heroes in the room and everything, but got to the pro thing. The contest was the weather got kind of shitty, and we had to like find a hotel for the night, and just walked into a random one like across the street from the train station in Innsbruck. The hotel I found was pretty sketchy, and my bank called me a couple days later when I came back to Yailo for the school, and they're like, hey, did you spend 15,000 euros 2 days ago? in
They thought it
Innsbruck.
was stolen.
I was like, I'm 16, and no, I don't have that money.
Oh, someone actually
They
charged
tried to
your
like,
shit.
they
15,000 euros. That's a lot of money.
they swiped my card. So,
It was that seedy of a hotel.
but it worked out.
Yeah, it
you
worked
know?
out. The banks actually always have your back on that scenario.
Yeah. And then, so the last year of that school, shout out to Thomas Hostad. I think he works for Red Bull now, but he was also the team manager for the Norwegian team. Prior to that, he's worked for Nike and DC. But he was one of the super pros in Norway, and he was a part of the Storbis crew, which is also Eero Ettala and some more Finnish guys. And they invited me to come on a trip to the US. They were going to go through like Big Bear and maybe go to Mammoth, and they had these park shoots up kind of lined up, and everything was kind of like just taken care of. He was going to pick me up at the airport. So I just kind of ran with it.
Did you have good English at this point?
No.
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 Your English is dope now. I can just imagine fresh off the plane what it was like for you.
We learn English pretty young age.
You do at school.
In Norway. So the fundamentals are there, but the accent kind of just disappeared later. And my first time seeing Big Bear, I was fucking blown away. It was insane. Like real rails and boxes and jumps. The whole mountain was a park. I was like, holy shit. This is real. This is here now. We were doing it. And we went to Mammoth and we went to Tahoe, and then I was riding for Rome at the time. Shout out to Morten Salinas, who put me on. He was like the Norwegian, thank you, rep for Rome, and put me on. And I was in Tahoe on the US trip, and I met Mike Paddock there, and he gave me a ride to Keystone. But I got to ride Keystone, I got to ride Super Park, I got to see a lot more heroes. And
that was probably pretty overwhelming, huh? The size of the jumps and
oh, I didn't give a shit.
yeah, you were probably hyped.
Yeah, whatever it was, just it was go time. So that was cool. I was just flowing at the time. It was.
How'd that Super Park go for you?
I think good.
Yeah.
I think I made an impression. I'm not sure. I did get an on deck interview out of that from
That
the
means you made
Ben
an
Fee.
impression
Was it
for
the
sure.
year with the stop sign that was?
Yep.
I remember that year.
The stop sign
stop
and
sign.
the basketball hoop.
Yeah, the basketball hoop.
Oh yeah, the basket.
Yeah,
Did someone get stuck in the basketball hoop?
Chaz was doing.
Chaz was definitely.
40s or some shit.
Yeah,
he was going off.
Let's throw an air
Let's
horn
get
out.
Chuck G gets an air
Chuck
horn.
G.
Let's give him an air horn.
the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck G,
He
the
is
man.
dope.
He's
I
the
remember
shit.
that Super Park.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick.
I love that dude.
Yeah, me too. He's a good dude.
He's a good
Chuck
dude.
G.
So shit basically started like popping off for you fucking big time.
Well, it
after
was
that.
kind of all happening, right?
Yeah.
So I think I kind of realized it then after getting to be a part of like a dinner with those DC dudes at the time, like, and they kind of explained to me how they were going to start making boards, and it was like going to be this like secret at the time, and they were rebuilding the team, and I got to hear the names on that list, and I was invited to be on the global AM team for DC, and I was going to be on with Chaz and Jonas, and the pro team was going to be Eddie Wall, Devin Walsh, and Ika Backstrom,
Wow.
Lowry Heiskari, and Aaron Bittner. Big shout out to Aaron Bittner.
Yeah. That's
For sure.
sick. That's a
All
dope
those
crew.
dudes. Yeah, I mean, that was,
heavy squad.
and I'd been watching the Mountain Lab videos, and I was like, this is what it feels like to kind of it's starting to happen. It was like starting to really fly. And I just couldn't really believe it. I was in it, so I kind of just ran with it. I don't know, it was just magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, like you came on basically the contest scene and you proceeded to just fucking win everything, right?
I always just wanted to film. That was my dream as a kid. I wanted to be in the videos that I was watching, and then but I was good at contests. So I figured I can just keep doing these, and I kept getting invited to bigger contests. And I was like, okay, it'd be cool to do the X Games. It'd be cool to do the Aaron style in Munich. It would be cool to do, and I got all these invites, and I kept doing well, So rewinding a little bit, every contest I went to in Norway, I would always look for like whoever was around with the camera. When I saw somebody with a sick camera, I would just roll up and be like, hey, when the contest is done, you want to film some shit? Just like some random whatever we can find. and they were just down, you know, like I think they were just maybe surprised that the kid like walked up to them like, let's get some shots.
Not everyone always does that.
Just in the park or whatever, you know. And I ran into Petter Fosshaug, who also needs a big shout out because but he was he started Factor Films, which was like another European Scandinavian kind of he was the one that first started filming Aki Helgeson and then later on Haldor Helgeson and blew those guys up in the beginning. But that got my like mindset to always be filming whenever I could. And I was always into like editing myself too, and like us buddies would film each other all the time and just get used to like working with footage and like.
Would these filmers let you have footage, or is it only when you filmed each other?
Petter was real good about it.
They
like
would shoot you stuff?
Yeah, but I was also just kind of trusting him because he was good at editing and making his own movies and kind of had his own thing going. So I got to know what it felt like to be at a local premiere with a video part and stuff like that, and just be a part of like that project too, kind of in Norway. And then later on, I got the opportunity to film Standard Films and Mike Hatchett, the Hatchets, and those guys. And I just found out like that season or next season I was going to be filming for them.
Those movies were big back then.
Yeah.
So Standard was a big deal.
Standard was a huge
I remember
deal.
the first one I filmed for, it's called Aesthetica, and it was, well, I actually got to be on a shoot the prior year with Whiteout Films, basically the whole, like, the Wildcats for one shoot in Copper Mountain.
And also, while we're talking about filming, I feel like we should maybe get into Name That Video part.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, we usually do it way sooner than this.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
You got to put your headphones on for this,
Yep.
though, because when we're doing Name That Video part,
mandatory.
Okay.
you got to be able to hear. Okay, here we go. Name That Video part. Name That Video part is presented by the Do Tour, which Torstein has won a few of over the years. I saw on your stat sheet.
Yeah, I got the stats. Got some stats.
Heavy stats.
He's got some great stats. All right, well,
Kids got
Torstein,
stats.
how confident are you feeling? You talked about it earlier. You're a student of the game. You watch the videos. How are you feeling about Name That Video part?
Yeah, my memory is not the best these days, but
I can back that, dude. I know how that goes.
You and Budz are
my
one and the
long-term
same.
memory is like not the best. My present moment is
It
pretty
sounds
good.
like if you hit one of those early movies, though, those always, you never forget those.
All right, here we go. Let's see how he does.
Let's see what's up.
Is it a robot
clue.
food?
I have
It
no
is
clue.
edited. I will say it's edited by a person who is involved with robot food. That's a hint.
Oh, I'm at a blank with this one.
I'm not a total blank.
Okay, well, you know
I've
what?
heard. I recognize the song. I have seen it
I
in
don't
the
even
video.
All right, how
recognize
about
the
this?
song.
We'll leave that one up for potentially the listeners.
See if he can
in
get
case
the next one.
in case you can guess the next one. We got another
And
one.
if not,
coming
it's
up.
a double.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say this next one is one of my least favorite video parts songs of all time. But I love this guy.
I don't
No
get it.
dice.
Well,
with
you
you,
know
dog.
what? We'll leave it as a two-parter.
That's
for the listeners.
embarrassing.
We'll leave it. Hey,
I
no,
wouldn't
not
be
at all.
embarrassed.
Not at all. Yeah, we'll leave it as a two-parter. You know what? Actually, I'll tell you guys the first one.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Because they can figure out the second one. It's Simone Chamberlain DC Mountain Lab video. We're just doing 360 nose presses and whatnot.
Okay. See, that makes sense because it was Pierre
Mm-hmm.
Vicberg
you
making
knew
those
You knew
videos.
the editor, the style.
Yeah.
So you were close.
Yeah, same editor,
The first
same
Mountain Lab
feel.
movie.
I'll give you that. That's in
Yeah,
the ballpark.
That's in the ballpark.
All right, well, I'm going to take us away from Name That Video part. Major shout out to the Do Tour for supporting the bomb hole.
Yeah, props.
Shout out to the Do Tour.
Yeah,
Mucho
I would have.
appreciation.
If I ever had to sit in that seat and do Name That Video part, I would never get them. So
It's the pressure, you know.
it's pressure.
Yeah,
too. And it's a snippet too.
I've
It's
seen
just
the
so
segment
fast.
on the tube.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Builds it up.
A lot of
Yeah.
people enjoy it.
But you know what it feels like when you start getting clips for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
You know the feeling.
Yeah, we
Clip
call
high.
that clip high.
We call
over
that a
here.
clip high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like a drug. It's like
it's
a drug.
like a drug.
Yeah. Yeah, and you like it's really motivating.
You want more and more and more.
Yeah, like it's working.
Yeah.
And when you're
Doing this.
young, it's almost insatiable though. It's like you just gotta get. You
can't get enough of it.
You can't get enough clips.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever feel like that? Like it's just like more like you're just eating clips for doesn't matter like all day every day, and you were doing that and you're doing content.
Yeah, what was your first crew? Filming with?
I kind of grew
Locally.
up filming with Scotty Stevens and Austin Granger and Chris Beresford. We made our own little videos, and then we eventually had a filmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? What was going on when you started filming? You whiteout films? You went right into the big dogs, pretty much.
Well, no, I started with Factor Films.
Factor films, yeah.
They were sick movies, man. They were really cool, and but it kind of just set me up for like, it pushed me to learn a lot of new tricks at each time we were out filming too. So that helped a lot. And then, but filming for Whiteout Films, and then second Mountain Lab movie I got to be a part of when I was kind of became an AM for DC. I got to go to the Mountain Lab for the first time, and they had a partnership with Yamaha, and they had some like They had a 4-stroke 1000.
Just whales, man. These things heavy.
It was
as
like
hell.
a small car.
They basically just get buried in the deep snow.
And I got stuck, and it was like a 5-man job to get that thing out.
'Cause they're
And
so
I was
heavy.
so like
It was 1,000 pounds.
it's insane. So I got stuck. Obviously, you always get stuck the first time you ride powder on a
Yeah.
snowmobile, and got the whole crew to help me out. But it taught me really quickly to not get stuck,
Yeah.
because I didn't want
It's the worst thing in the
the
world.
whole crew to shut down whatever we were doing because I got stuck. I learned really fast how to keep up on a snowmobile and how to ride it in powder and not get stuck. Like don't park it uphill facing up. Like
Pro
Yeah.
tip. I kind of want to chime into something that Andy Wright said. I was doing a little intel recon mission about Torstein, and I talked to Andy Wright, the photographer. Shouts. Air horn.
shout out to Andy.
And he said, quote unquote, I have never seen anyone as driven as Torstein. And I just thought that's he's
heavy
filmed a lot
coming
of
from
people.
Andy, yeah,
you know,
he's
he's filmed just
many
about
years.
everybody. And it is
That means a lot.
It is pretty cool. Like you know, it takes a special type of person to film video parts and be winning contests and doing both. Most times it's one or the other. And that seems like it could be do you think that is attributed to your work ethic at all, or?
It was probably just the tunnel vision lingering.
Yeah.
You know, I still had a lot of fire from that, and a lot of there's still, I think, the anger I had inside from my childhood, just I put that into working as hard as I could and making the most out of, because as soon as I started feeling like I was making it, I was like, okay, this is precious. Like I'm not gonna screw this up. I want to, every moment I can, I'm just gonna make the most of it, and I want to make this last because this is feeling good. Yeah, after that taste with Pierre Wickberg and the DC crew, and the next year I was going to be on with Standard Films and filming with Chaz and all these dudes, and mostly out in Tahoe, and getting into like some real backcountry kind of on from there. I didn't shoot with Andy until later, but it was really cool, like filming for Standard the first year. They were still filming 16 millimeter, the whole movie. It's called Aesthetica. And that was strange.
Yeah.
Just going through like the whole season and not really knowing if you had anything or what was happening. And
You don't get to see your clips.
no. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't really focus too hard on how this goes. I can just try to like stay here and now and like make the most out of each one and try as hard as I could. And I remember some of those filmers for Standard were, remember my first backcountry jump was out in Idaho, and I was filming with Kazu and this guy, Ando, Chris Anderson, shout out to him. He taught me a lot. He, like I hit the first jump and I remember I got a back 7, I got a front 7, and it was like this huge step down, and I was like eating a lot of shit, and I think I hit the thing like maybe 20 times or something. It was so beat up, but it like kept me, like I kept asking him, like, was that it? You think that was it? He's like, do it again. You know, just if you're not sure, it's not it, you know? And it wasn't like, I didn't know what it felt like to be sure.
Yeah, you weren't even sure.
The trick felt good, but as soon as I asked him, I was like, if you're asking me, do it again. You know?
And that would probably your confidence. You're just like, oh, I guess I'll do it again.
It was a long session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're not sure, do it again is great advice though.
That is good advice, because then at least you know you got it.
Well, you got definitely put ingrained this thing where like, if you're like, it helped me push my riding outside of filming too. Cause all I had to go on was the feeling. You couldn't review and be like, does it look good?
Yeah.
It was like, it has to feel right. And that helped me a lot, I think, too, just along the way. Like, if it doesn't feel good, then it's not it.
Yeah.
You know? Because you can feel it when it feels like the one.
When it's the one,
when
you're
it's
like,
the one.
perfect.
Is my mental time frame error right now? Like, at this time, you're pretty much the only one doing, like, switchback 12s and shit, right? Is that when you were doing, like...
That first year filming for Standard was the first time I got to go to the X Games, too.
Yeah.
And that was I got invited to hit the big air.
Yeah.
And I did the first, like, switchback 12 and won the X Games for the first time mid-season, basically filming for Standard, and
that's insane. Pulling both of that off,
Dude,
I can't remember if I got a 12
that's nuts
in that video. I don't think so. I think I got maybe, I mean, it doesn't matter, but I think I like finally learned that trick for real at that contest.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that was you came on the scene hot with that. Like, nobody was... And this is also the...
Well, I didn't know how to do that trick. Until I was like, the mindset of going, I'm here at the X Games, like, I wasn't expecting to win. I'm just going to try to learn something fucked, you know? And
So you're doing 9s and 10s?
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck it, I'm going 12.
going 12.
Yeah. I'd learned how to, like, I wanted to do a front 10 like Andreas Wig, the Wigmeister.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
The king.
Superhuman.
Yeah.
Superhuman.
Yeah, I love that dude. Because he had, like, I felt like he had in my eyes, the sickest front 10s with the indie grab. And so I had those, and my mind was just like, all right, I'll just do a quick switchback 180 and go into that 10, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's how that makes sense when I picture you doing them. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just, like, yanked that switchbacks out as hard as I can, and then I think I grabbed stale fish, like switch melon grab for it. And I just landed it and rode away. I was like, I couldn't believe
Crazy.
it. And I tried some weird, like, I don't know.
X
But
Games just eats that up too,
you were
right?
23
no, 20, 21, 22.
21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
21, 22, X Games fucking gold and big air. And it's just a trip to think, like, that must have been a crazy adjustment. Because, I mean, kid bullied growing up, not the best. Like, that must have been fucked up having everybody
everyone
in
on
the
you,
world,
all
eyes on you. You win the contest.
Yeah, the
What was
attention
What was that
insane.
like? Like, all of a sudden having that attention.
It was crazy.
Crazy for you, huh?
It was a lot, for sure.
Something you weren't used to.
Not at all, but it felt like I was just in it. And I was just kind of running with it. And I was having so many new experiences. And my team manager was like, yeah, you need to have a truck now. You just get a truck. You can buy my old truck. I got a good deal. Shout out to Sean Lake. And he was
Sean Lake.
Yeah, he was the DC manager at the time. And I got a snowmobile and started filming for Standard and then the X Games. And it was kind of just flying. And the train was like moving in front of me. I just jumped on, you know? It was like time to go. And it was like I wasn't thinking about the old shit anymore.
Yeah, you were just
Another
doing
part
this.
of that train was the DC jump in the car cover is right around that same time, right?
That was like the following summer because we went down. I got invited to go
Ken
down.
Block.
Yeah.
That was actually my first team trip with the whole team.
Yeah.
Not just like the AM guys, but like the whole squad. And Ken was there, obviously. Ken Block, solid dude.
He gets an air horn. We're going to give him an air horn.
That guy has enabled a lot of kids to follow and pursue their dreams. But he was there, and then we were going to have a morning shoot at Snow Park, New Zealand. It's right between Wanaka and Queenstown. I didn't really know what was going on. We get up there like 7 a.m, and he's got his rally car there, and then he starts ripping the mountain with it. And Pierre's filming it. The mountain opens at 9 a.m. and he's still ripping the mountain. And then he's like, I want to hit that jump. and it's not a jump built for cars. It's the bottom biggest park jump in the line.
Whoa.
And he pulls up. There was 2 giant jumps in a row, and he pulls up on the deck of the first jump, and he's just gonna roll in. And this is snowboard, poppy ass snowboard jump.
That's nuts.
And then the first go was so insane because I was watching it from the deck of that first. Yeah, it's insane. And I was watching it from the deck of that first jump, like him rolling down, and then hitting the fucking snowboard jump with his WRX, and he was nose diving so heavy. I thought he was gonna like crash and then do
flip.
like tomahawk down the landing with the car, but he like barely made it, and then he put a bunch of weight in the trunk.
Oh,
I think they just like grabbed some like sandbags or something and put it in the trunk, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go." And then we started hitting it with him, and we got those clips, and that ended up being like the cover of Snowboarder magazine. And my first,
dude,
like, I did a front 7 next to him, and yeah, that
had to be pretty wild.
That was crazy. I was like, I'm spinning frontside because I'm gonna drift away,
away from this
I'm
car.
gonna drift away from that thing, and it wasn't like a wide jump either.
Yeah.
It was like,
how is hearing that car?
it was like, I'll go right, you go left. I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do it.
And he put sandbags
hearing that,
in the trunk.
like hearing that car come over.
Just freaking, that was a rally car.
I fucking love when he's like, get that damn car off the mountain. In the DC mountain lap video, it's like driving all around and shit.
Yeah. But side note on that is right next to Snow Park was a facility called Snow Farm, and that would be an actual car testing facility for new cars coming out. They would like ship cars with like they would be all hidden and like have the coat, like the drapes over them, so nobody. They would just secretly ship them there to test them on snow.
Oh, really?
During their wintertime, our summer, and so he had another shoot planned over there, and it was going to be like a bigger like a jump built for him because they were running the same snowcats, I think. And at this point, we were there too, obviously, and we were like gonna play with him, and it was gonna be a part of the segment. And Ken was unsure about the speed, so he asked me to speed check the jump for him, which doesn't make sense.
Like, let me follow you in on a car, basically?
No, so I was like, sure, like whatever you need.
Towed you into
so he would tow me into the jump, and I would whip out of the tow and then hit the jump. And then come back to Ken. He was like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Well,
I'm not a car.
I'm not a car."
But I made it.
And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. But maybe a little, like I lose a lot of speed when I let go of the rope." That's all I told him. He's like, "I think I got it," and he overshot the fuck.
Because they have that gas at the end, so they're gonna definitely.
He overshot the whole thing
and he was fine?
to the parking lot. No, he like compressor factored his back.
Oh wow!
This is after the big jump.
Yeah, this is after the park, the snowboard park jump. So that was the end of that thing, and I felt so bad because I didn't find out till later that he had compressed his back.
Yeah,
because he seemed fine, and he actually gave me a ride and like I got a ride along in his car afterwards. He was just ripping turns, but I think his adrenaline too. Like if you there's 100 different ways you can break your back at 100 million different levels, So
yeah, it could be pretty minor.
I think he was just, he had to chill pretty hard after that.
Well, now it makes more sense on the downhill. So did he gauge his speed to clear the downhill jump off of just following your speed on a snowboard? Is that how he figured it out, or just eyeballed it?
The snowboard jump, he eyeballed.
He did. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other one that was more private,
yep.
He was just like, he got his car up to a constant speed.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't continuously like accelerating. And then we got up to that constant speed, and I decked it one time and then pulled out. He went a little bit faster, and then I cleared it. And then I think he went the same speed and overshot the whole thing.
That's so crazy.
All right, so while we're moving right along, I got to go through some of these statistics we were talking earlier. This guy's got some heavy stats. So, you came on the contest scene. You basically won everything there is to win. X Games medals. You won Rider of the Year, cover, X Games, Do Tour gold, European Open gold. And then you do the first ever Switchback 12, first ever triple cork in I think filmed and then in contest and then into POW, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the damn triple cork for a second, because that thing's a freaking meat helicopter that was probably just in
Meat helicopter.
Dude, like, Jesus Christ. Like, giving that thing some vinegar must have got the blood flowing, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a trip. I was at a park shoot in Norway with a skier crew called Field Productions, because they were kind of the ones putting on the best like jump shoots at a time, and I was friends with the dudes, and I got to tag along, and I was just like, anytime you got a shoot coming up, I want to just come join, and I'll pay you guys for the footage, because I knew it was expensive. He was a young cat too, this guy Philip, like just super young, but like putting all of his money into cameras and stuff like that, and I was on his first like shoot where he hired a helicopter and was dangling his feet outside the door and stuff like that. And I was just like, dude, if I can be a part of this, like I'll pay you for the shots, and we'll and I'll ship him to Pierre for that first Mountain Lab movie. That's how I kind of got rolling with that crew, which thankfully I got paid back for. But I kind of just put a blind investment in that, because that was a lot of money to spend on a shoot for me that early. I knew it was worth it. So I got a couple extra shots in the Mountain Lab 1.5. And then the next year, I think 2 years later, we were at a shoot, and he had this giant step down jump out in Stranda, Norway. And I was doing some double corks on it, and I was like, there's a lot of time here. And I got my mind spinning on like, wonder if I could do, another one of those and make it 3. It was like a front double 10.
Yeah.
And because I was like a huge fan of that trick at the time,
yeah.
The front double 10. I think after seeing like how sick Halder was doing them as well, because he won the X Games the following year with the front double 10, and he was just like sick as style. So I was hugely inspired by that, and that was like the first real double cork I learned how to do. And then that sent me into like, that whole summer I could not stop thinking about trying a triple, at least to figure out if I could do it or not, because it was unknown territory for me, and I think everyone at the time. And Philip called me. He's like, "Hey, I got another shoot coming up, Folgefona," and I was like, "How's the jump gonna be?" And he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be this kind of like step over thing, like just try to make it as big and good as possible." And I was like, maybe that's it. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell anyone that I wanted to try, because I didn't want that pressure. Like I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. And if I didn't pull it off, like I wasn't doing it I was doing it for me at the time. I couldn't get it out of my head. Half the motivation too was probably like, it would be sick to have that trick in a video part. Cause I was, like I said, filming for Standard at the time, and wanted to give it some juice. But I went there. I told my roommate in Oslo at the time, like, hey, I'm going to go see my mom. I don't know why I said that, but I jumped in the car and drove to Folgefona, and didn't sleep that night, obviously, and woke up the next morning, went up, shaped the jump by myself. And at the time, like most of the Norwegian snowboard scene could recognize me. Like in Norway at the time, I was I had a name, so kids would recognize me on hill because I'd won the X Games and stuff. So
yeah, that's
I went up to Folgefona, and I was wearing all black.
And that's not normally
and like
what you
a
do.
face mask, and just and I went to the jump and raked it and shaped it myself, because
Told your roommate you were going to see your mom. Show up wearing all black.
Yeah, and I
You didn't want anyone
I
onto
wanted to
this.
be stealth as fuck, because I didn't want any that I don't know why I did that, but that's just how I handled it at the time. Just because I was like,
No pressure.
If it fails, nobody even knew I was here trying that shit. But it worked out. I got it after I actually broke my ankle on the 5th or 6th try.
Wow.
Like my ankle blew up, and I knew it was fucked. And I was like, but I was so close, because I'd gone for it and I'd made it around. But on one of those, I just hooked my toe edge so bad, and like my ankles, like I tore some ligaments, and like my talus was like slightly fractured, and which I didn't find out till later. But at the time I was like, that's not good. And I just tightened my boa on my boot a little tighter and cranked the binding more, because it was a T-bar, you didn't have to unstrap, and went up and tried one more time, didn't get it, and then one more time and got it.
Whoa. With a messed up ankle.
Yeah. And and that was such a relief. It was such a release, major release.
That's
Love a good release.
Yeah.
But that was huge. Like the feeling I got from that was
Did people there start to
incomparable.
realize it was you? Or was
well,
no
I
one really-
had put my costume on at this time.
Oh, you did. Once you were feeling comfortable, you were like, all right.
Yeah, I had to
let's
put
throw
my
on-
my Sendy
Yeah.
my Sendy
Let's
outfit
throw
on.
on a brighter
And then-
jacket.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you just kind of put this trick out, right? Didn't you just put it out on the internet? Is that
Yeah,
how-
it was such a like I'd already started this like video channel YouTube thing called Torstein.net
Yep.
at the time, and that was like one of the first videos that I put on there because I was just like I don't care anymore, like because we had 5 angles or something of the thing. We had 3 angles from
I remember
Philip,
watching
but there
this
was
shit.
other guys
Yeah.
there that realized what was about to happen.
Yeah.
That were homies too.
Yeah.
I had homies on the mountain that day that didn't know I was there until I started and put my costume on.
That's crazy that you were so stealth like that.
And then they were filming too.
Dude.
So we ended up having like 5 angles or something. And then one of the like more far away angles, I put that up and then I saved all the other ones for the video, the bigger videos.
Dude, Ninja was talking to him about this. He was like, bullshit that you didn't tell anybody because like you rode for Monster at the time and they wanted to blow it out, I guess, or like obviously wanted to.
I mean, it's a big
It's a big
deal.
deal. This
Yeah,
guy does
it's
the
a
first
huge
triple
deal.
cork. Like you could do a whole thing. That's a big deal now.
Yeah.
And you just put it out on your own terms. It's like pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's
and I remember
cool.
they were a little bummed because I had the patch on my beanie on the wrong side, and then like the intro for it, they couldn't see the logo, and it was like this whole thing, and I was like, I'm
Wasn't
sorry,
what you were
like,
thinking
'cause
about.
I didn't think I wasn't thinking about that, like
Yeah.
it was just, I think I'm still not good at that, like
Yeah.
just
You were thinking
know,
about getting it done, right?
yeah.
You also
Yeah.
did the first one in competition, right?
Yeah, that one I didn't make it all the way around for like the 14. So it was and when you do that trick and you don't make it around, it's not really that corked out. So it ended up being like a 180 triple flip more or less. Too, but
And you got bodied to try before.
yeah, and I like triggered a migraine and it was like all sorts of mess. But it was that was the first. I'd call it more like a triple flip in contest.
But it was still the first of its
Triple
kind, I
something.
guess.
Yeah.
It sounds like, too, with all this competing, you were more stoked on doing video the whole time, too, huh?
Well, it was always like the contest was a side thing.
Yeah.
And it was something I got to do, but
But
I
you
got
were-
good at.
just happened
But
to
it
be good at
started
it.
slowly to take over a little bit more too, because I was like kind of I don't know, I
Sponsors
wouldn't call it
pushing,
stuck
maybe?
riding contests, but all the contest people and there was a lot of money in that too, and a lot of ego boosters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like affirmations and like you're on the right path, you're killing it, and when you're killing it in contests, you're not just making money, but you're making a lot of money for other people as well.
So they all want you to
There's
keep
a lot
going.
of exposure, and it was during the time I feel like in snowboarding when it was starting to transition from filming being the main thing to like slopestyle contests being like the main show, and I just kind of followed that, but I was still just like we need to go film too. So it was always like juggling both, but it was chill at the time because there weren't that many contests, and I had the luxury of picking the biggest contests. I got to ride the X Games. I got to ride the Do Tour that was just becoming a tour, and the Aaron Style in Munich.
Yep.
Or the
Arctic Challenge too, right?
Yeah, that was earlier.
Yep.
When I was a lot younger for that when I got those invites, and the Nissan X Trail in Tokyo Dome. That was a huge one.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
a big
seeing
deal.
the footage of Arrow and his
Yeah.
looked like a
Yeah.
crazy.
That was
experience.
a lot of bisques too.
Was it?
You win that? What'd you win? Let's talk Bisc. Let's talk about the Bisc.
Let's get into
we gotta
the
get
Bisc.
into the Bisc. What are we talking here?
That was like that was during like the major like come up when it's like 2008 or 2009 or something when the car company was still putting a lot of bisque into snowboarding.
He knows the
Really?
terms. I like you. He knows the
Yeah.
term.
I'm learning from you guys.
Yeah, he's handling it well. He threw it at us, too.
Yeah.
So the car companies were putting up loot for the contests.
Yeah, so this one was sponsored by Nissan. It was like in this huge like baseball indoor dome in
That's
Tokyo.
crazy.
Tokyo Dome, and they paid. And this was still when like all my filming heroes was still in the contest, and
because it was a big air, right?
yeah, and it was like it wasn't going past the 1080. It was like maybe like 900s and 720s even. They had like a jump into a quarter pipe, and it had a quarter pipe jam separate, and it was just like people were just jamming.
So
it felt like a jam. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to see Nicholas Mueller do his back fives and back seven Japans and like try a 1 foot back seven. And you know, Shaun White was there competing, and like all these, like, it just felt really like special. And I was riding with Nico Bang, and Chaz Goldemon was there, and Kevin Pierce.
So what's going on with the biz? Let's talk about the biz.
Well, you get paid $5,000 just to show up.
Everybody.
Everyone.
Okay, that's good.
You get put up in a 5-star hotel.
That's how you do a contest.
And as soon as you show up, here's 5 G's. And that's like 50,000 yen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get people to a contest right there.
Let's just keep it dollars because the conversion's kind of.
Yeah.
But
tricky.
I ended up winning, or I got like 8th place or something in the quarter pipe, and then I won the big air, which means you also win a car, which if you're not Japanese, you can't take it home, but you get like 10 G's or something instead.
On top of the money.
So that's like 15 already, and then 30 for winning the thing. So like 45 G's.
Whoa.
And I was like 20.
That's a good day.
20 or something.
45 racks for a 20-year-old. What the hell are you supposed to even do?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Well, I was going back to the U.S. and all of a sudden I learned that you can't bring
40,
that kind of
40K
money
with you. Oh, is it all cash?
So I gave 10 G's to my team manager to carry for me, and I gave 10 G's, I think, to Keir Dillon.
That's like sketchy, dude.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, you know, I wasn't taking it to like.
They literally gave you all cash, though.
Yeah.
You watch Narcos. That's
it was all yen. It was all yen.
All yen. Yeah. They're thinking you're a
but
Japanese
I was just
drug
stopping
dealer.
over in the U.S. and then going to Norway to put it in my bank.
Yeah, but you can't really.
But
do
I
that.
learned on the way over that this is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's
you know?
like it puts you in the heavy.
So
like,
I was
let's
still
look at
not
this
really
guy.
in the green, so to speak, when it came to like, because I still have 25 G's in my pocket.
Which is too much still, right?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'll
You're
put
supposed to
10
have
G's in
10K.
my wallet, and I'll put 10 G's in my travel folder, and I'll put 5 G's in my sock or something. You know, like.
Did they catch you?
No, it was
Oh,
fine.
nice.
It was totally chill.
You guys smuggling the biz
Yeah,
across the border.
you basically to win a contest and smuggle it, but I'm sure you could have proved.
You know, I remember Pat Moore's telling a story about Arctic Challenge or something, smuggling some.
you got to
loot
smuggle
home or
the
some
money
shit.
home.
Yeah.
Well, they would do that. Like back in the day, they would just give you. In the U.S., they would give you a check in hand usually, but a lot of them was just like cash.
That's crazy. They would just
No,
give cash up
that's-
like that.
Like, here's
we're
figure that out.
We're talking 45 racks a contest, right? Can we talk about?
Well, that was the biggest one. That was the biggest win.
Can we talk fiscal year contest winnings? Okay, do you got a rough idea of like the best year, maybe rough ballpark?
Well, there was a couple years. It was definitely 6 figures, like
Just
a few
from
years in a row.
And then the energy drinks add on to that, right? They usually
They started to. I was a little slow with that. I was I said no to the first energy drink sponsor offer. I didn't feel right about it at the time, and then a year passed and I was doing better, and the offers got bigger, and I was like, I can do a lot of good with this, you know, because I was starting to hire my own filmers and stuff, and putting out more things, and I was like, well, if I have this now, I can pay for that, and I can bring him along, and we can start film. We can just film more, you know, and just put out.
Weren't you on Rockstar for a while?
I was on Monster first, and then Rockstar.
still on.
I'm still on Rockstar.
There's a
Shout out to Rockstar.
at local gas station. There's a picture of you, like big banner
Here?
from my house. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to you.
Budz is
Still
there all
up.
the time.
It's-
You'll get that photo
No,
tonight.
it's not at Sevi.
Oh,
It's at a different one the other way. But I always see it. It's like an older photo, and it's just been up for years.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got to
I'll
text
take a
me where it
photo
is
of
so
it.
I can drive by
Yeah,
and get
go
an
by
ego
and
boost.
Be like,
There.
what up?
Do you know who this is? Just walk in the gas station.
It's me.
That's me out front.
Just freak out. Like, don't know what to say. Random people come by. Like,
You're just hanging.
Hey!
Hey, that's me right there.
do you know who that is?
I'll get you the address for that.
Yeah.
Well, multiple people brought up the fact that you pay out of pocket for your own filmers, you know, and I think that's an important lesson. Like, obviously, you worked hard, you were able to financially get to a place to do that, but it's kind of like not waiting around for something to happen. You're like, I want this guy to film, I'm gonna pay for him to film, and there's something to be said for that, because a lot of people just wait for a team manager to hire a filmer or some shit. You know, I think that's
Most
cool.
people, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think it just made sense at the time, like coming out of the triple cork. I had a lot of time on my butt because I was hurt, and it took a long time to heal. Like ankles take a shitload of time, and I was just like, I want to do something different, you know. And I think the early movies inspired me a lot with the bonus sections, because I was so fired up of getting a little insight into these guys' lives, you know, just even if it was just one sentence next to their car loading their gear or something, whatever it was, like the bonus material, like, because I watched these things like front to back, and getting to that stage, I was like, I wanted to just bring a filmer along and like we can do our own thing, you know, because I'd already gotten like a couple, I got like an opener and an ender with Standard Films already, and I was still gonna film with them, but I was like, I can do more. Like there's more energy here. Like we can put out, like, and this lifestyle is kind of insane right now. All the contests, like that's going well, and the parties and the traveling and then the filming, and like the double aspect there and everything. So I brought over my homie Tobias Reistad, and I was like, because I'd seen some of he'd made some DC videos in Norway, and I just really liked his editing style, and I was like, hey, you want to travel with me and do this thing, you know? And he agreed to, like, yeah, let's try it. Let's go for 2 years. That's what we figured out. And at the end, we'll just film a lot and film as much as we can, and we'll put out videos. We'll start putting out videos continuously, and then hold on to the banger shit. And at the end of it, we'll put out a movie, which then ended up being Horgasm.
That was Horgasm.
A love story, yeah.
Which has 4.9 million views on YouTube, I noticed. Which is fucking
people watch that
unbelievable.
thing.
Maybe
People
the most
still
amount
watch
of
that
views
thing.
in a video.
I still get comments on that, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
Can we talk about the name?
Talk about
Can we
the name?
What's
Yeah.
going on with the name, bro?
Orgasm.
I was so in love, straight up, like, or in the flow.
That's where
you
the
know,
love
like
story comes from.
I was just like, I was just in love with it. Everything, the whole
you say
thing.
You're married to the game.
For sure, you know, I definitely felt like that, and then Dex, who's like this the character in the movie, he's like a stand-up comedian. I think he was like, what about Horgasm?
Oh, he's the one who threw this name out?
He threw the name out, and I was like, it's a little, like, that's a lot, you know? So that conversation in the video is kind of real.
Oh, that was real at the beginning.
It wasn't how it went down. That was,
it was
for sure a skit,
yeah.
you know? And he's not my agent, and he never was.
Yeah.
Just to clarify. But like it just made it like so much more fun to watch, I think, like having him a part of it, and like he was good friends with Tobias, and it just worked out.
Totally.
Yeah, it was cool.
I think, I mean, I just feel like I had to bust your balls about the name a little bit, but it's
ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous name,
you
but
have
shit,
to, like-
4.9 million
Yeah,
views. I
it was
guess.
like clickbait though, before clickbait, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Did it?
Like,
do
we
you think
didn't-
it helped boost the views?
We didn't plan
Just
on this,
having a
but it got
wild
to a
name.
point like when that name got tossed out, I was like, I was trying to come up with a serious name, and then that got tossed out. I was like, well, this is kind of a joke in the first place. This
Yeah.
whole lifestyle, this whole thing is not really that serious, you know? And I learned a lot of that actually hanging with the Helgesons too. So like props for that, because I was riding with them at a time where I was really serious and taking it maybe a little too serious, because I was holding on to I didn't want to lose anything,
Yeah.
because I finally had something, you know, that filled that hole, and I didn't want to let go like at all. So I was like, you know, and at times I might have gotten irritated sometimes with other people that weren't taking it as serious, you know, they were kind of playing the Joker.
Yeah.
Because I was like the opposite at a certain time too, And that name just helped out a lot. Just like,
Helped you lighten it up a little bit.
It was the summertime too. And it's like, whatever.
Well, the whole
This
thing
is
matches
sick.
your personality too, and there's like so many different genres of videos. There's the core little niche that's filmed a certain way, and there's a million. But I just think it's cool that you pick something that matches your personality, and you're being yourself, which is actually kind of fucking rare in snowboarding. I feel like where people are actually, you know what I mean, like being.
Well, I didn't know who I was.
You're still figuring it out.
I didn't know
yourself
who.
out.
Well, I didn't know who I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I never figured that out.
Yeah.
And when it came to like filming something, I had nothing to lose. You know, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Let's go.
Let's just run with it. So all the personality that came out, everything was on the fly. Everything was just coming out. Every time I had Toby stick a camera in my face, and he started learning pretty quickly too that if we were shredding and there was time for like to get a comment or a reaction or something, he would just turn it on because I didn't know what I was gonna say, and it just came out like that. So, and I didn't care to like put it out, and it was most of the shit was probably corny as hell, you know. But I didn't care. It was just like I just wanted to put it out. I wanted to show people, you know.
Like,
I
people
wanted to
love this shit. I mean, your following just was larger than life too.
and it was cool because that was
I think
like a
being
little bit of
yourself is a great way to go. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do? What can you do but be yourself? You know.
yeah.
And it worked. Shit.
And at the time, I was like, "That's okay. This is who I am now.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, this is the hat I'm wearing. So I'm just gonna play this part. I'm gonna play this role. Not that I had that mindset at the time. I was just in it, you know, and it was just going.
I think this is where I don't know if this is where you're going, but this is a guest question from Scott Stevens. Here we go.
Hey guys.
Oh, you got to put your
Stevens
headphones
here,
on.
and just have a question for Torstein. That being, just really want to know more about Shredbots. I see him out there filming and making beats and doing various things aside from filming snowboard parts. And I was just wondering on his involvement and the behind the scenes. Thanks, guys.
Scotty Stevens.
Dude, he's such an inspiration. Like, that's insane. Like, I love that dude. The Horgasm thing and putting videos out on my website at the time was torstein.net. You know, like I wanted my name and everything. And then I kind of hit a crossroads after those years with Toby, because I was like, okay, I did this. It worked, you know. I feel like I can do more with this, and like I know how it works. I know how to start it up and get a new thing going, but I didn't want it to be so much about me. So I wanted to start something like newer, and I brought this idea to, at the time, Mark McMorris and
Yes,
Eero Ettala.
They both get some air horns. Let's give it a couple.
Big time. And I was like, I know, like at the time, Mark had started to bring his own filmer too around. And I knew Eero had his video series going. He had done a few projects at the time, like tracking Eero, cooking with gas. And it's like, hey, you guys want to start something like more like a channel, like a platform here, like where we like, because I was like, I'm going to drop my Vimeo channel and just put everything that I'm making onto this Shredbots thing. And that was the name I came up with. That made sense at the time. And they were both down, you know, because I just, the way I explained it to them, I obviously wanted them to be a part of it too. I was like, hey, like I'm going to drop this thing that's at the time was getting more traffic than any snowboard website in the industry. Not that it mattered, but I heard, somebody told me like, hey, you know, your website is like on fire. Like the host company is pretty pissed off right now because they got to keep increasing their bandwidth.
Oh, wow.
I was like, how bad is it? You know, it's like, and it was like millions of clicks a week.
Wow.
We can do it again, you know, like, and we can include more people. That was like the thing, like let's put it, like make a platform where we can put out videos, and then down the line, I thought like we could bring in other crews and we could just, you know, keep spreading it, putting it out. I mean, Eero, obviously, like no hard feelings or disrespect or anything, but he had his own thing kind of already established, and he had some contracts going with his series, and he couldn't really step away from that, which is, you know, obviously all good. And so it was like me and Mark, and at the time, and then it kind of just snowballed from there and started making more videos where it's like we have other crews that are just standalone making their edits, and they want to put it out on Shredbots because we have a big following and like a really like I'm really thankful for that, because our like all of our followers are like super, like they're down, you know, and we
You guys
never.
have the biggest channel in snowboarding, I think, from what I looked at, right? You're bigger than Transworld or the other one, Snowboarder.
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
it
If
a
you,
website or is it on a platform?
YouTube channel.
It's a YouTube
Mhm.
channel.
Yeah.
Sick.
yeah, just like views per video and like subscribers and things like that. So I think it just worked because we never really did it for like, we didn't never get any partnerships or put out ads. It was all just like, let's try to make the videos as dope and cool as we can to get as many people watching them and be stoked on snowboarding, so that all of our personal sponsors are happy because they're getting, you know, they're getting eyeballs on their product. So it's always been kind of, I guess they call it organic now, organic product placement.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, but we're just out there doing our thing and just trying to make cool shit. And then that's just a happy byproduct of it, because like GoPro, for example, everybody uses a GoPro when they're snowboarding, or like I'm outfitted in DC and I love them. So like I'm not going to ride naked.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear my shit,
Yeah.
you know? And the same with Oakley, Rockstar, like all my sponsors. But then when other crews put out their stuff too on our channel, then it's the same for them. So it works good. And then it just brings more flavor to it.
I thought it's cool how you look out for those younger crews. I feel like you've seen videos of like some younger Rado crews, or all like the younger generation, the next wave, like giving them a channel, I think is fucking super cool.
Well, it's easy for me,
Yeah.
because I just built it because I wanted to keep doing it myself. And then that byproduct is awesome. Like having that opportunity now to like when Mons Royceland and his old crew and the Norwegian squad make an edit in Norway during quarantine, because they're like
Oh,
on
they
a
were
training,
the only crew, right?
training camp or something.
Yeah.
And they have an edit ready to go. And it's like, they just text me, you know, like, hey, we got this edit. You want to put it? Can we put it out? It's like, hell yeah. You know, like people want to see people have fun right now too. Like, and
It was
they,
much needed.
I mean, obviously these are strange times, but I look at it more like a positive thing in art. You know, it's like they're not just, they edit a lot of their stuff themselves too. And it's like, when it reaches that point, I feel like it's more art than just self-promotion, because you put more, you choose a song that fits it, you edit it, and you snowboard with that editing in mind, and it becomes like this piece instead of just like, hey, look at me and what I can do, and this is like my friends are awesome, you know. And Marcus Olimstad too, huge fan of that kid. It's got some stilo.
Were they in Sosfay? Is that where that edit was from earlier this year?
No, they had some private team
Okay.
training camp shoots in Norway, you know, because they're all still riding a lot of contests and stuff. And then we have like Matty Cox from Australia, and he's like, nobody obviously can get into Australia right now from the outside, but Perisher's open, and he's cooking up edits with Marcus Skin. It's another filmer I've had the pleasure to work with, and they're just like, you know, they want to create stuff. You know, they
I didn't
don't
know
wanna stop.
Perisher was open. It's open, huh?
Yeah.
There's only certain parts that closed down recently on Perisher opened up.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand's open too, but they're just locked off.
Yeah,
you know?
you can't. No one can go there.
Well, while we're on the subject of filming, all my fact-checked intel research, everybody brings up a little guy named Drone Racer Gabe. And Drone Racer Gabe is a guy that you found and put on in your first drone footage using a snowboard video, correct?
Yeah.
Is it Gab or Gabe?
Well, at least in the backcountry. His drone name is Gab707.
Gab
Oh, Gab.
707.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, because
Okay.
when you're a drone racer, you got to have a sick drone racing name.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Drone
That's what's up.
Racer 70. What is it?
Yeah.
707.
Homie's on ESPN2 winning the league.
Is
Yeah,
he winning
just-
Cheddar Biscuits?
Oh,
on
he's
that?
getting bisque.
Can we talk about the bisque in the drone
In
world?
the
I
drone
am
industry.
unfamiliar.
Doesn't he build
I don't know if
custom
I can
drones?
touch on that subject just because I don't know that much about it, but I know they have like there's an official, it's called the Drone Racing League. That's like the main one. There's
I
a
didn't
few
know there
ones.
was a league.
Oh yeah, it's on TV and everything.
Wow.
And they travel around at stadiums and I think you sign a contract, you get paid to stay on that tour.
Yeah.
And then these guys can have personal sponsors too, like for the parts and everything. And like, you know, they get exposure, so it makes sense. But I found him. I was looking one year for drone racing footage in the snow, just online, like on YouTube. and I only found one guy that had drone racing footage in the mountains, and it was Gabe. And I hit him up on Instagram and just like, hey, you want down to chat? And it happened to be this super awesome dude, born in Switzerland, who lived in Montreal at the time, who used to be a snowboarder, and he's got a PhD in physics, and he's working on expanding that. He's super smart. He's a hell of a guitar player, and he's just like a one of a kind dude, and he's like the best in the drone racing league. You know,
sounds like the perfect guy to call up, huh?
And he was down, so I flew him out to Whistler. For the first day, like there was a lot of like logistics. We were going pretty far out in the Whistler backcountry to this place called Callahan. Used to take a lot shorter, but they blocked some roads, and now it takes like close to 2 hours to just roop out there.
Got to bring some extra gas when you go there.
I seen you out there.
You need a jerry can out there.
Yeah, I'm the one violently tomahawking.
It's a far ride. So we had gone.
That's a big day. 2 hours.
Yeah, so we had gone out the day before and built a bunch of jumps in the zone. The forecast was looking good, and I called him on the forecast too because the forecast was looking good. I was like, "Hey, can you fly out tomorrow, and then we're gonna go shoot?" And then he's like, and it just worked out. And I was with Vernie Stock at the time, Craig McMorris, and Anto Chamberlain, like filming for a Shredbots movie called Reboot. And because he had zero snowmobiling and powder experience, so I booked what's called a heli drop for Gabe.
Jeez.
And Vernie, because we didn't have a sled for him either, which is not that expensive if you're considering what we're doing. I think it was like,
it's not that bad.
It was like $1,000 or something.
Total or a head?
Total for the drop and the pickup.
Yeah, and geez, a couple sleds
Canadian,
are expensive to
so it's
rent
basically
anyways.
nothing.
Yeah,
basically pesos.
Almost
It's
free.
essentially pesos.
Totally worth it.
So we had like booked like a drop for like,
That's
I
probably
think
the same
8
price as renting 2 snowmobiles.
8 in the morning. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually that plus that just wouldn't go well. You know?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Not
It's
to
stuck
Callahan.
all day. Yeah.
It wouldn't work. So we had a
it's
bunch
great.
of jumps built. We're going to have them drop off at 8 a.m. We're going to meet them out there, me, Craig, and Anto, because we had sleds. And then we boosted out 6 in the morning, and we got stuck on the glacier. We didn't want to enter the glacier because it was foggy.
Oh, no.
It just opened up, and the whole glacier was like blue. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
like, oh, let's go. Because I knew it was a huge day. Come over the last hump and drop into Callahan, and the heli's coming in, and they drop off, and we just time it perfectly.
Wow.
And then Gabe comes out of the heli, and Vernie, and
Those guys must just be
and Skinny
hyped.
too. Marcus Skin was there too, and we just went in, and we got like some FTs. Everybody got shots. You know,
What kind of Chuck roast we talking on this thing?
I think I got a back 10 first try on the jump we had built, and then realized this landing was kind of not as soft as we had expected, so kind of played it a little safe after that. And we actually just had that one day, and he flew home, and we got to watch the footage, and it was like, this is insane.
Was it
This
the
is
first time a drone was out?
Yeah, and it was just so cool to watch a drone that could keep up with you.
Yeah, he has
descending.
those fast ones. I've seen his videos. They're
and
nuts.
whip around you and do all these moves like mid-air, like orbiting, and like it was like a whole new perspective
While
of
you're
backcountry.
jumping,
Yeah,
he's like orbiting you.
well, he's actually the best.
Yeah, the best.
So-
Drone racer. The best of the best.
Which he's like super humble, but like
He
And
is
he's got the
best.
VR
if you look at the
headphones on and shit.
stats, like he's like the most consistent in the final and the most consistent in a top three or something. But
That's crazy.
This dude wearing the fucking virtual reality headset.
oh, he's got the stance too. He got all the wide stance. And
Really?
he's got I think he brings some. Brings the terror.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie to you. My personal opinion on the early drone shit though is fucking moving around and it was just wild, and I was like, fucking not down, dude. I was
Oh,
like,
we
it's
did that
too
on
much.
purpose.
I was like, it's too much, man. I can't do it. I'm gonna not lie to you here, man. I fucking was player hating. But
You were out there playing.
That's all
player
good,
hating
bro.
on it.
That's all good.
now I'm like, fucking drone, let's go. Get the bird in the air.
bird in
Yeah.
the air.
But you know when shit first comes out, you just like
Yeah.
it's like a new car style. You're like, that thing's whack. Then you see it like
A bunch.
a
and
Tesla,
done.
or something, and now you're like, oh yeah, that thing's cool. That thing's great. Like, but you first see it, you're what the fuck is this?
You're like, what's going on here?
But I had to confess a little bit. I was not down
we
with the
did that
drums.
on purpose because we were so excited about it.
Yeah,
so we
never been
dedicated
done.
the whole Ender segment to that session.
Yeah.
Ended up flying him back for a second trip too,
Yep.
where we got 2 days, with more like lines and stuff like that,
Yep.
which is kind of what really opened it up because like that's where I really saw the potential.
Yeah, in Lions, it looks crazy from that.
Because he can
POV.
keep up with you,
Yeah.
and it gives a whole different sense of speed. But it was obviously super whippy in the beginning, and he wanted to kickflip the thing all the time, and he wanted to shred too.
But he's like flipping it around and just
Because he
having
doesn't
fun
see
and-
us ride with his own eyes; he's seeing through the
Yeah.
matrix. So
the Matrix.
we were just so hyped about the segment, and we
Yeah,
just
so
wanted to
exciting.
show the whole like the potential of it, and get people hyped. And some people obviously weren't down because I would agree too. Like it was a lot of people we showed was like they were like,
Yeah,
this is too. It's too much.
so
It
much
was too
movement.
much. It was, but then we got better.
You learned how to
You
progress
dialed the
it.
drone down a
We
little
dial
bit.
it in, and then we like, going back to the art thing, like keeping that in mind, and then directing a shot with Gabe now,
Yeah,
where
kinda
it's like
telling him-
let's create, especially with the slow mo, we can make it really smooth and like let's come. You come enter from here, and then when I'm in the air, you're there, and like or whoever's riding.
You kind of choreograph it.
Yeah, you kind of direct it more as a piece. So like one shot becomes more of like a,
Each
Like-
shot's a piece of art.
So
almost.
if you watch Reboot, it's hectic as fuck. But
Yeah.
if you now the latest movie we put out is called Light. We put it out March 1st this year, and it's a whole different thing. Like it's way more mellow and just like, I guess more satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
It's more pleasant for the eyes.
more
No.
easy
I've
on the
seen,
eyes.
There's a new like moto commercial with Tyler Bierman, and then there's like a Nija commercial that's filmed with a drone. Have you
Mhm.
seen it? There's like the new drone shit, like you're saying, like
Mhm.
totally smooth and perfectly framed, and
Mhm.
yeah,
And that's so sick for him because he started getting hit up like crazy, and he's filming for National Geographic.
Yeah.
He's he just got hired by Travis Rice and his crew last season for
So he's crushing it.
the natural selection test event, and he's
I saw some
doing
footage
it,
from that too, and it looked really sick.
Yeah, and that's like his main thing now, and he wants to like continue with. And dude's got a doctorate degree in physics.
That's crazy.
You know, he
Smart
he
guy.
can.
Does he build his own drone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just evolving, and I'm just so like thankful to be a part of that progression because like it's something that's like really, I'm just excited about it, not just the snowboarding part, but the music and the directing and the editing, and the whole thing becomes like way more like involved with it, and it's really cool to be a part of it, I think.
That's cool.
use that creative outlet. It's like your brain seems like it's always spinning, it's always working.
Yeah.
Having that creative outlet, I should say.
I think that's just comes with being like a sensitive dude that spent a lot of time on his own, like as a kid, and like I'm comfortable by myself too, like now, like but it's a blessing and a curse, like it's you gotta, there's always ideas, it's nonstop, and it's like you learn slowly like which ones to run with and which ones to
So you can't run with them all, huh?
no, and but it's, I look at it more now as like when the thoughts come that are like insane and sometimes negative and really dark, it's like I can get it from a different angle and transfer into something good.
Well, I want to transition or pivot, as me and Budz like to
Little
say.
pivot.
Do a little pivot.
We'll shove it.
A little shove it. I talking to Ika, aka the Eye Man. Gets an air horn.
I love that
he
dude.
said, I was kind of asking what you've been up to lately, and he goes, oh, in Ika's accent, he said, oh man, he's been meditating all over the place. And then he also goes, he's been doing all kinds of stuff like intermediate fasting.
Saying it wrong.
So the term is actually intermittent fasting, but let's talk about this fucking meditation situation.
Yeah, well, I've been practicing yoga for a long time. Just I don't know, 10 years or something like that, maybe more. I don't really know. Like when I started with that, it was more like I was still looking for all the different kinds of ways I could, it was all with snowboarding in mind. It's like, oh, I'm going to try yoga. I heard it's good. I'm going to try that. And then that slowly kind of, when you start with yoga, most people have that thing in mind where it's like, oh, it's just another way to work out. But they get you with the breath, because it's always the focus when you go to classes, you know, and then things kind of, you start to feel different a little bit after a class. You're like, I feel really calm right now. And it's like, after a while you realize, oh, it's the breathing. It's the focus on the breath, you know, and then that kind of starts to become more of a focus than the exercise. And the exercise and the flexibility becomes just a really nice bonus. But like going in with the breath in mind has been the main focus. And then that kind of slowly led me on to just breathing and just sitting down, which is actually a huge part of yoga as well. And for the last couple of years, I just started just deciding like, okay, I'm going to just dedicate some time to this in the morning. And that's like when my mind is probably before it fires up, you know, before you look at the phone and check your email and whatever, like the day gets going.
So before you're even looking at your phone, you start meditating.
I started taking 10 minutes, just sitting down and just staying with the breath, you know, breathing. And just, it was a lot of things going down at the time where I was like 3 years ago or something, when I hit a point in contest where it wasn't like the Aaron style when you have your heroes with you and you're riding alongside them and it's like a jam, and it's like the contrast from that to slowly getting to the point where like there's way more contests now and way more traveling, and my body's starting to like not be so stoked on chucking on ice and low light anymore, and like the injuries that followed with that. And yeah, it got to the point where it was like you got all these coaches and teams now, you know, we're just used to doing this all on our own, and you realize there's like coaches at the start taking notes of what other riders are doing so they can have their riders do the same or better, you know, because they were looking at me at the time, because
I didn't even know that was going on.
It is fully. Yeah. But it wasn't. And that's what I was used to, you know, and then that leading up to the Olympics and because I just wanted to see if I could do it. I had the opportunity. I was kind of at the top of my game competitively at the time, and I was winning a lot, you know.
Which Olympics was this?
Back to like being like
Sochi.
Stuck riding contests. Like that was like the peak of that, you know. Yeah, Sochi. So I made it there, and I was not comfortable. I was not comfortable at all.
Just out of your element.
It was just all of these rules, you know, and I hadn't really been to a real FIS event yet. And it was insane. Like you had to triple check your credentials between getting on the chairlift and getting back to the start. They would only allow a certain amount of people at the start gate. And it was all these rules. And I was just like, my whole being was like, this is wrong.
Really?
But I still didn't pick up on it. And I was like, let's try to send it. And I just chucked, like, I was trying like a switch, like a fakie hard way back two, like over two. And I just remember like on this huge gap in the first feature, I just wanted to just blow it out. And I just remember like clipping and getting knocked out.
Wow.
And woke up with a broken collarbone, and I was stoked.
Really? Just so you were done with it?
I had this, it was like exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stop, my brain wasn't stopping this, you know, my ego was just,
you were going to
angry and
no
just,
what.
yeah, I was hurt too. My ankle was so pissed off, and I was going to just, you know, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Thankfully it was just a broken collarbone.
I
actually didn't knock myself out. You know, when you get so winded, you knock the wind out of yourself so hard that you just shut down. And I woke up and I was stoked. I was like, it's over. I don't have to be here. And that was like, that started that thing where I was like, I don't want to compete anymore. Like, this is not what I signed up for in the first place. This is not making me happy. And that sent me deeper into yoga.
And you got to follow what makes you happy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, or at least like build up like your level of joy inside, you know. There was no joy there anymore with that, and it was all this frustration. And then that went into more yoga, and then slowly, and then I was in a relationship at the time, and then it wasn't that good, and that ended up with a breakup, and I had all these crossroads kind of show up, and then just this path led me to going down to Costa Rica and drinking some medicine. And,
the kind of medicine that gets your mind put on a different.
Yeah, I know you guys have talked about it on the show before. It's called ayahuasca, and it's like the very like ceremonial thing that's they use this they've been using this plant medicine down there for thousands of years, and it's part of their culture. And it's not like over here where there's like a huge war on vegetables. That's insane. You know,
So what kind of effects we talking here? What was
And you
the
flew down there
biggest-
specifically for this.
it's a visionary. It's like a visionary, like you meet yourself, and you get, it's like some people call it like 15 years of psychotherapy in 5 hours or whatever. It's
It must have been intense with your
it's
youth and
it's
everything.
a journey. Yeah. And then I started everything started to make sense, you know, like this is why you're feeling this way. This is where this came from. There's a lot of things stuck in your body, a lot of emotions, and you know, talking about a release. That's a fucking release, bro.
That's a good release, huh?
Holy shit. Yeah. And then, so that first trip down there, did 4 ceremonies in a week, and I've gone back to, and it just kind of shows you, it gives you tools as well as what you can do to keep up with this, you know, and because you can get there on your own. But if you don't know what the end goal can be, like, then those types of medicines, I feel like, treat it with respect, obviously, can help you a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you don't even know that you're in prison,
True.
you can't escape from that. You can't escape from a prison you don't even know you're in.
Yeah,
you know
that
what
makes
I mean?
a lot of sense.
And that stuck with me, but it just opened me up to like, oh, this is why this is happening, and it's all connected, and like you feel so connected.
Just
It's
getting
insane.
in touch with yourself more, huh?
Your ego gets put on.
On check or what? Just
You beat the shit out of your ego.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah.
always
Wow.
there to
It's not you.
sabotage.
Oh yeah.
The crazy rat trap between your ears to always fucking
there to
make
mess you up.
Yeah, sabotage you, get in the way, you know, make the wrong decision and whatnot. But one thing I wanted to touch on is when we were speaking on the phone last night, you talked about, you had with your father, he had a stroke when you were 11, correct?
13.
13? Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Mm.
And that what happened in that scenario? And did the ayahuasca tie into any of that stuff?
All of it. Yeah.
Okay.
All of it for sure. I was playing the blame game a lot, you know, and not connecting a lot of dots just from my childhood and everything. And then later in life too, when I was getting frustrated, like it was easy for me to just play the blame game and put it out on the external, you know, but it all starts with you, and it all comes from you, and you created it, you know, and some of the situations when you're a kid, you're not, that might have transferred from your parents or their grandparents, and it transfers over, and there's this confusion, and there's a lot of karma there, or just old energy that hasn't been released, and that can go through generations, you know. Like if your grandfather or his grandfather was a piece of shit, you know, his grandfather was probably a piece of shit, and that
Yeah, it's
transferred
gonna
to him,
trickle.
and that transferred into his son, and that transferred into being like your dad or your mom, you know, and it's not their fault. It's not theirs, you know, and for me, having that realization that this is not mine, I can let go of this, and having that for me, it took the medicine and going down that path to realize that, because I wasn't going to figure that out on my own. It was pretty clear for me. Meditating now and going deeper with that comes from a different perspective, you know, where it's like, oh, you can let go here, you know, and it's beautiful. Because when COVID happened, and this is the busiest time of the season, I'm sure you felt it too, where both of you guys, like,
It was March, right?
getting into March and April and May, like that's the busiest time for us.
Yeah. It's go time.
That's like when you're warmed up, you're ready, you're fired up, you want to go, you know, and
It's like our Super Bowl every
yeah,
year.
yeah. And I like have all these things planned, and let's do it. And then it just immediately stops. And I had this like quick thing where I was like, just switch to like, oh, it's like, this is a good opportunity to like go even deeper in myself and figure out what else is there that I can work on within me to make me a better person for myself and others. The fasting actually was connected to that.
Intermediate fasting.
Well, that's actually not completely wrong. Like that term could kind of be useful for that, because intermittent fasting is like you time restricted eating, basically. Like it's more for like nutritional health and like giving your digestive system a break. You know, you only eat within an 8-hour or whatever window you set for the day, and then you don't for the rest. You don't take any calories, and you give your body a rest for just not digesting shit all the time,
And
right?
your body uses those stored fats too
Yeah.
as part of the deal. Right?
But what I was doing and I was reading up on was water fasting for meditation and going deeper. So I ended up going for a 10-day water fast, which is just water. So not eating anything for 10 days.
Wow.
And that puts you in it. And then I realized, like, because when you're after 3 days or something, your body's completely done digesting carbohydrates, and it's switching over into burning the stored fat you have in your body. And even for like really skinny people, they have enough fat to do that safely for like a week or something.
For 10 days.
I don't know. Like if you're going past that, I think you got to seek. I would recommend seeking medical help, just to be supervised or something. But for me, like I had a little bit of a muff, so it was easy. But that's not the goal, to lose weight. Like that's I was doing it because if you're doing it to lose weight, that means you don't like your body.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
like.
But I love
Yeah.
this thing, like it's given me a lot. So I was doing it to go deeper, because when you pass that threshold, the fat burning is not completely enough for the bodies to sustain energy. It's really efficient, but what it does on top of that is starts to burn toxins and get rid of toxins in your body, which is insane. And you can start to feel old injuries flare up.
Oh, wow.
And I could start to feel my collarbone, my back. I've broken my back twice. My back is flaring up, which means it's not completely done healing. It says you're doing it for healing. And it's pretty crazy. And then when you meditate doing that, you go a lot deeper, and it's kind of a trip. Again, like ayahuasca being a psychedelic, this is very psychedelic, but you can, it's all there, the whole thing,
Yeah, it's all you can find it within you. You don't need the ayahuasca to get there, is what you're saying.
No, you don't. But people like me that have had a lot of shit go down and have maybe some confusion, it could be beneficial. Like I said, treat it with respect, to have a mystical experience, just to open your eyes to what it could be. And then learning, like, oh, I can do this on my own. But if you don't know where you're going or what the end goal, or like what is possible, then it's hard to start, right?
What was that like on like the 10th day of fasting? That must have been insane.
Dude, like water started to taste sweet. You get the sweetness back.
Really?
Like water starts to taste insanely good. And then
And it's all you got all day for 10 days.
And I shit you not, I go into the grocery store on the 10th day, because you start to get a boost of energy. Like you start to, because your body's basically like in sleep mode, or like when you're sleeping, you're healing, right?
Yeah.
When you're resting, you're healing. But it starts to be in 100% sleep mode or healing mode all the time.
Oh, wow.
And you start to sleep a lot less. You don't need that much sleep. You only sleep when you need to dream, and then you start to remember your dreams.
Crazy.
Vividly. Like you can write them down that following night. You're like, oh yeah, I was having visions in my dream. They become more like trip visions, where it's like you get messages, kind of, like, because it's all there, like it's all.
That's really cool.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Well, this is first. What was your first meal you had after you got out?
Yeah,
of the
that's a
tent?
good question,
What
dude.
did you go eat?
Well, I read this book on fasting. There's a bunch of them out there. A lot of them are very based in like religion, but I didn't come from that side. So I wanted one that was like kind of like a little bit on the spiritual side and a little bit on the science side. You're just like, this is what happens, and are the benefits physically. These are the benefits spiritually. And like, on the third day, this is probably going to happen. Between 5 and 9 days, this stage happens. You have more to expect, because there's a lot of pain too. You start to feel a lot of pain, which means you're healing, which means you're actually dealing with it, and not just in your mind, but in your body and your physical body too. The subtle body is a whole nother thing. But yeah, like I said, when water starts to taste amazing, I went to the grocery store on the 10th day, and it felt like the vegetable section was like, it was so easy to pick out what I needed, what I actually needed. and not pick out things that I don't need. You know, the book I read was also, I'm sorry, but I forget the name of it. It tells you that you have to ease into it. It takes about 10 days of recovering if you're fasting. However many days you're fasting for, you need to set aside the same amount of days for recovery. So you got to ease into it again with food. And I wanted to make a soup. I don't really eat that much soup. Now I do, because that soup was the best thing I've ever tasted in my whole life.
Yeah, I bet.
It was insane.
Make me want some soup.
I was just like almost crying. I was sitting there with my girl, just like, you don't understand.
She didn't fast with you, I take it.
She tried a 3-day, 3-night with me at the beginning of it, because I'd previously done a 3-day, 3-night just to see like a month before, just what it was about. And I went really deep on those meditations. So I was like, okay, this is not just bullshit. You know, there's something there. You know, especially coming from like the DMT world.
Yeah. Did she make it the 3 days, 3 nights?
Oh yeah, for sure. She just did the first 3 days with me when I was going on my 10-day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and those days are the hardest. You get over the hunger by the after like 48 hours. You're not hungry anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah, you can expect 48 hours of suffering, just like because your body's like, fuck, just give me food. Just give me food. Just put food in the face hole.
What do you do? Like just empty your house of food and?
Yeah, just like no treats around.
Yeah,
like
just try to prepare.
Just like
Put a
not
bunch of Sour Patch Kids on the table, just torture yourself.
Bad idea.
Bad idea.
Yeah. I'm a big chocolate guy too, so like, no, none of that in the house for the days. You know,
dude, I couldn't even imagine going 10 days without anything. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's. If you read up on it, it's there's so much material. Don't YouTube that, because it'll just be a bunch of fitness models being like, I lost 100 pounds in whatever, you know, like that's not what it's for. That's a nice byproduct, but if that's the motivation, you're not gonna go.
Well, I imagine you can't exercise if you're not eating either.
No, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
No,
it's like
you gotta give
energy.
all your energy goes into healing and resting and.
I remember Bodie would fast a little bit when we're out shooting, and he realized like I can't go hiking when he would like was on a liquid.
He does like these
fast.
Cleanses.
Yeah, like a cleanse. I guess not a fast,
but he's kind of honestly irritable. It makes him like, you know, it's like hangry.
Yeah,
it's like when he
goes
and
realized
does
like
stuff.
I can't go hike and snowboard if I'm just doing this. So you can't. It makes sense. Taking nothing in.
Well, it's like when you get excited about something, right? You're like, if you're trying intermittent fasting for the first time, you're like, this works, and then you realize pretty quickly like. Works, but it doesn't work when you got to put out a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you're shooting and you're trying to get shit done,
not gonna happen.
You're gonna be hiking. Yeah, you gotta eat.
You're gonna run a marathon. Like you talk to Sage before he goes on a big run. He's like, I'm eating a fuck ton of food right now, so I can go like run. Like, you need that shit.
Hey, I got a Patreon question for you from Pat Moore.
Awesome.
He's one of our Patreons, which is pretty dope.
Yes, it is.
Sick.
He wants to know about the time you were buried in a small landing slide and Andreas dug you out.
That was in filming for Black Winter for Standard Films. I got to film with shout out to Pat Moore, by the way. He's a G.
Yes.
So we're filming for Black Winter, Standard Films, and we were out in Tahoe, and it's kind of like a stormy day. We were just gonna shoot in the woods, and we went out. I forget the name of the zone. There's so many zones around the lake. We're just trying to film in the trees, like build a small pat down. Like the landing went down and ended up on the snowmobile road we were on, using for a shuttle as well. I just hit this weird pocket. I was eating shit on a front nine. I land and I tomahawk and I roll out, and then the whole thing gets released. And the whole landing goes, and it drags me down and stops with me on top of the snowmobile track, and I'm completely buried because I just rolled, and I wasn't expecting it. Nobody was.
You have transceiver on?
Yeah, of course. You'd
be surprised. Some people you never know, and if you think it's safe, you know.
For sure. No,
if it's just mellow and you're right there in the cat track.
No, the beacon's always on for sure. Mike Hatchett taught me that.
Nice.
You know, he taught me basically everything I know about backcountry safety, and
that's a good man.
You're gonna learn from someone.
Yeah.
You know. But luckily it was like they were right there because they had their cameras set up like on some angles were on the snowmobile track as well, and Andreas was right there, like he had just hit it too. and he just ran over as soon as, and I think a little tip of my snowboard was sticking out. And it was just like really lucky situation because like it was pretty obvious. I fell there, I stopped there, like they could kind of tell where I was, so he went straight to me and got me out in like less than a minute.
Pretty scary though, huh?
When I was under, I was like, well, I know they're right there. I can't move. I was trying to move and I was completely stuck.
Get cemented, huh?
Yep.
The snow turns to concrete right away, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how big the slide is. If you're under, you're not moving, you know? So, but thankfully, like, and I heard him after a little while.
A little bit of digging.
Yeah, like, and they got to me, but the panic kind of set in afterwards because they got me out. And I was out and I could see them, but I still couldn't breathe because like I had so much snow down my throat. And like it was like I probably had like what's called like a snow plug. If you're buried for a long time, that thing can harden and set in. And if you dig out a person that's been under for a while, you gotta like that's your go-to. Clear the airway and then pull out the plug because it's most likely going to be there.
And it'll be hardened.
It'll be like an ice tap. Like a popsicle.
That's crazy. And you had that?
No, I didn't have.
Starting.
It was It was already like
yeah
melting. I was getting air in and like it was, but I was like swallowing it and like, because you breathe when you're panicking like that, you're breathing as hard as you can. You know, you're like not just air is important in here. That was it. It was just like a wake up call, and you know. Thankful that happened and carried it with me.
I feel like it's always a wake up call for the whole crew too. Just everyone's like, all right.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Like it's never like you're never completely safe. So
things
like
can happen quick.
There's obviously things you can do.
Yeah.
To there's a lot of precautions you can take, and we always try to do those and make it as safe as we can.
Yeah.
And then even when you have you've been there, Chris, where you have a landing, you're like, this thing's probably gonna slide. And if you have that mindset, it's almost like the trick becomes like you're gonna put it down. You obviously choose maybe a safer trick too. Maybe you're doing a back 7 instead of a back 5,
so
you can spot and like even if you hand drag or like butt check, you can still get out. You know, and you're not like in a landing that's like 1,000 feet.
It's a trip how quick it changes. Like you're having fun, you're on top of the jump, everybody's having a good time, and then boom, life or death situation. Like people, especially riding the resort too, you know, there's shit's dangerous out there. It's good to take a class, get knowledge, all that stuff. And also like being buried and thinking about that, like you only have limited amount of airspace and then it's over.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want
to
you don't want to be there.
Yeah. No. And if you do, you want some trained people around you, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we just try to like the more sincere you can take that part of it, I feel like the more fun you can have when you're actually boarding. And like you kind of set the stage.
That's the truth. Huh?
And it's when it goes, it's the best time of your life.
Oh yeah, the clip high too when you land. Whew, good drug.
It's so
it's a
good.
kind of drug.
Truth. I got another Patreon question for you. This one's from Andy Gold. He's curious how many laps it took to get the North Star line. Years on, it still looks like a video game.
That was actually filming for that first year with Standard Films. I was just riding North Star because I was hanging out there because that's where they kind of had the base, Standard Films. And that was just the flow of that mountain is insane. Just the way the terrain is laid out, you don't really have to speed check too much. You just kind of hit a feature and then cruise like you're on a skateboard to the next feature and the next feature. There's like no harsh speed checks. You're just kind of flowing with it. And it's a long run and it ends with a half pipe. That's it.
Hitting the flow state on that one.
For sure. So I was like, this would be sick to film. And then I convinced Mike to get a filmer on me to just film a top to bottom run. And I was just like, this could be like, I got faith in this, you know. I know they don't really film too much park to put in their movies, and that wasn't really the norm at the time. But
true,
but he was down, you know. Like props to Mike because like he's been in the game. He got a 16 millimeter on me actually. Tom Day, legendary filmer, used to film a lot for. There's like huge legendary ski films company.
Warren Miller.
Warren Miller.
Yeah,
yes,
Warren Miller.
You. Yep. Thank you. Legendary.
The most legendary of ski.
And I was like, you should probably bring the Panasonic because, you know,
shooting film on a top to bottom.
That's an expensive endeavor.
But I'd been riding that mountain for like a month straight every day. So
you're feeling it.
I was like just in it. And every time I went there, it was to just let loose, you know, and like just get in. I was just so addicted. That's one of the sick things about snowboarding is like, it's one of the better activities you can do to get in the flow state or get in the, you know,
it's pretty quick. You land something,
to
you're
get
feeling
free,
good, you get hyped.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, cause you stay in it, you know, it's like, you're just playing the game with difficulty and like being scared and like somewhere in between and like hype, and like being stoked. And then you find that sweet spot.
And really, no matter your skill level, you can get there because it's just as exciting if you're just starting.
And what's good about that park is it's a long run and there's no pauses. You don't spend energy braking. So it was just perfect for that. And I just wanted to capture that. And he was down. He brought the 16 millimeter. He brought the pano as a backup. But I was kind of putting him down. Like it was, we did like 3 runs on the 16 mil and we'd run out of film right before the half pipe every time.
Oh, wow.
So I got it
or something, right? Or 2.5 is a roll.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I put down, I definitely put down a whole run on the 16. So that was like 1 out of 3. And it was like, we should switch because like we can end it with like a little spray shot to the lens and we don't want to do that to 16. Yeah. That's after the half pipe. And so like the next run I put it down. I think I put down 2 more on the pano. So it was like, it didn't take that many runs.
It didn't, huh? To link that all together. That's sick.
No, like, you know, I was pretty awesome at the time. You know, shout out to my goddamn self.
Let's throw him an air horn.
Let's give Torstein an air horn. No, you were fucking larger than life at that point, though. I kind of want to go Dr. Phil psychology dive deep right now.
You're going to do a deep psychology?
I kind of want to do a deep psychology.
Deep
Go for it.
So thinking about your career is like kind of like thinking about your life is crazy, all the shit you've done, right? But if you think about your upbringing, it seems like you were bullied growing up. You had a hard time. And like the first time you were kind of given acceptance and validation is when you started winning contests. And then your whole career, like sometimes as snowboarders, you put your value, your self-love almost on your snowboarding, right? When I do well, people love me. When I don't do well, people don't love me. And it's not really fucking healthy. Do you think that your like mental, you know, your whole drive for your career, like had anything to do with that? Like, and then you eventually, it seems like you found a way to find a little bit more contentness lately in this, like, for lack of a better term, spiritual journey you've been on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole, like, I gathered a lot of energy from the anger and the frustration and the hole I was in as a kid and just the sadness. There's a lot of sadness just shoved away. And that just like, that was a blessing because it like put me in that tunnel vision when I finally found snowboarding. Right.
Yeah.
And then that seemed like it started to fill a lot of holes. Like at least like I wasn't thinking about it anymore. Like I wasn't in my brain so much. I was just like in it and going for it. Being like successful in contests and blowing up with that and video parts and all that, and kind of reached a point where it's like, this is not really making me happy anymore. You know, like what's going on here? Like, this is what I set out to do, I'm making my own movies now. And like, it's all good. But the sadness is still kind of coming back and resurfacing, and taking the time to like focus inward and putting that time in now, which is also a luxury. Like self-work is a luxury for sure. But I had the opportunity, you know, like, and there was more dirt in there that needed to get out because you can release it. But reaching that point with contests where it just started to get frustrating again. And I was like, playing the blame game and like, this is hurting and I'm hurting. And like, I was still getting podiums and I'm not happy though.
Yeah.
Like what's wrong with this picture? I want to enjoy this, you know, but I let go of the contest thing. And I was like, you know, I just want to film and, you know, keep doing this and spreading the love kind of, you know, and maybe not at the time I wasn't thinking like that, but I am now. And like seeing the position I'm in helps other people too, I think. But the frustration and the things can still come. What the meditation and the journey has got me to is like, I don't need to identify with that. I don't need to be like the triple cork guy or the Ender film part guy.
That was all do this.
That was all good. And like, I love what contest did for me and enabled me to do and put me in the position I'm in, but it doesn't define me. You know, I'm realizing that more and more, where like when I'm angry or when I'm sad or even when I'm happy, like happiness too can come and go like that. You know, somebody can put you in the dirt, but like what you can bring up, what you can level up, for me, I've realized is the level of joy inside. Like you're just all over like general joy level. That's something you can work on. And that takes just like a releasing a lot. And when a bad thought comes in, I know how to handle it now. I can just observe it more and be like, oh, it's just a thought, you know?
I don't know.
And you choose
chew on that one like you would.
Yeah. You choose yourself which ones you give attention. So that's helped a lot. And that comes a lot on like, I'll even have days where like I'm watching old videos and reflect like, oh, that was so cool. Or like, I wish it was like that, but it's like, nah, we're here now, you know? This is where like, what can be better than now? Because now is all you got, you know?
The present is all we got. That's actually, I always hear like, if you can put yourself in the present, like you're always talking about that too. It's like
anxiety stems from thinking about something in the past or something in the future, right? Stressing a lot of, and then what is that? Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. That's why they call it a present. The present. It's a good
I've
quote.
never heard that.
Yeah, so it's like kind of a good,
Staying
when you're present, like when
healthy.
you're snowboarding, you're not thinking about your things that ensue anxiety. But
it's bigger than that too. Like you can get present any moment.
Yeah.
And if you're longing for snowboarding or something like a trip that's coming in the future, like you're not present, right? Or like your relationship seems like it's going downhill and like it's you're playing the blame game on your partner. It's like just bring it to now and focus on what's really kind of see the bigger picture. And you start to realize like that feeling that snowboarding gives you, or the feeling that surfing gives you, or skateboarding gives you, or the feeling that your girlfriend, your wife gives you, your parents, like it's always there, and it can be right there right now. And it's right in here. It's never up there. You know, when that thing's going, you're not really present.
True.
But you can always bring it to the now, you know, or bring it to flow, or like make yourself in love, whatever you want to call it, the energy. And if you need to, like there's certain tools you can use for it that you can put in your toolbox. Snowboarding is one of those tools. Surfing or skateboarding, same thing. Or you can sit down and do like a formal meditation where you sit all nice cross-legged and you're just
do that too?
Well, that's how I could do it in the morning, because like I have a space for it in my house, and it's like
you
I like
actually
to
have
go
like
there.
a meditation room.
Yeah, but you can do it at any moment.
Yeah,
you can do it in your car before you go into the grocery store. All you're doing then is like
just kind of center yourself.
Yeah,
I think this is really freaking cool, because I think that a lot of people, maybe myself included, I look at people that are doing really well. Like I would take somebody like yourself. You know, you think that these people that are doing well, that you look up to, have it all figured out, right? They're like, oh, that person doesn't have the same set of problems I do. Like they don't have their brain doesn't sabotage their fucking opportunities like mine does, or like, you know, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are going through hard times. They're struggling, especially with COVID and all the, you know, civil rights stuff happening. It's just everything that's charged right now, like left versus right, and the whole. I think there's people struggling out there, you know, and they always will be. It doesn't matter your fucking rate. Like everybody struggles. And so it's really cool to, you know, hear somebody having the same set of problems as maybe a listener right now. You know, I think it's cool for you to talk about that too, and how there's solutions, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in it, it's hard to see it, you know. And I've been really lucky to be able to reach a point where I can reflect and see it. You know, and now like I all I'm doing is like putting more tools in the toolbox to like I can bring out okay, I'm in my head too much right now, you know.
Yeah,
and that can go far. That can go far. Fear is a huge one. And a lot of people are really afraid right now.
Yeah.
you know, and I'm sure, I don't know how it is like in the schools right now, but I know there's a lot of social media bullying going on, and there's a lot of uncertainty and just fear mongering and fear spreading, and like people like to talk about shit they're scared of, like just to get an affirmation from something external, like, oh, you're scared about this too, like I'm so scared about this, and like let's talk about that some more. But then you're just in it, you know. Or if you got the TV running 24/7, it's all fear right now.
Yeah,
That gets
'Cause
the
fear
ratings.
sells.
That gets the ratings. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't have to stay there. You can get out of it. It's good, you know.
And one of the things is crazy right now, huh?
Yeah, and one of the things you can, like, if you're scared, right? Like, are you really afraid? Like, if you look at it from something like that might happen in the future, because you're not dying, you know, you're not falling off a cliff like that's, or you're driving a car, all of a sudden the car in front of you moves over in the lane, or you jump off a snowboard jump and you spot the landing and there's a child sitting there with his parent having a sandwich or something, and you're about to land on him. Like, that is like, you get scared.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're just thinking about being afraid all the time, that's just anxiety, you know, like that can, and then that's endless. You can build that, you can dig yourself down in the dirt from that. But if you're practicing sometimes staying present a little bit, and then maybe maybe some gratitude in there too, and focus on those things in the present moment, those things can start to go away, you know. And then you see the bigger picture and like, oh, I'm actually not in a life or death situation right now. It's just that the fucking TV is on.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking about all the things.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the cops following you or, you know, shooting you down right now, I can't relate to that.
It's kind of every day in the news.
But right now, like, is it happening right now?
Yeah,
you know,
true.
and there's things you can do there, like even micro things, you know. You can just move the attention from up here and into your body. Because if you calm down your body, your mind will follow. It doesn't work the other way around. And you can scan your body for tension too. Like right now.
You can find it, huh?
Yeah.
And if you start with just scanning your body, like, where's the tension? Where can I relate? Like, do I need to be flexing my left leg right now? Like, no, I'll just relax that thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know,
kind of sense it around your body.
Can you feel like you relax your hands? Can you feel the inside of your hands?
So what meditating is doing this?
It's just a tool that brings you to the present moment.
Yeah.
Like, you can try it right now. Like, if you don't try to feel, like, physically touch your hand.
Yeah.
But like feel
that
if you take
inner side of your hand.
If you take a deep breath and let your shoulders drop, like, relax your shoulders. Is there any tension there?
My whole body's filled with tension. Bro.
That's the mass hole in
I
you.
just got so much coffee running through my
This coffee
veins,
actually
bro.
is a tension increaser right here. I've been sipping on this stuff and it's got me.
But if you just
right
feel,
now. Yeah, but I feel you.
Yeah, you feel that energy inside. You're bringing the attention from your brain that's just constantly on fire, all the time.
Firing, yeah.
You bring the attention from that into your body, and then you can focus on things like your breath. That's also like a sense, you know, like you can find like an anchor with your breath too. If you're breathing through your nose, you can even make your sound audible, like they do in yoga. It's called Ujjayi breath. That's another anchor you can focus on that's not in your thoughts.
But an audible breath is called what?
Ujjayi breath, or like an ocean sounding breath. You like slightly restrict the opening in your back of your throat.
Like that.
We're sensing us a little Ujjayi right now.
Yeah, I never knew that. I've never heard that.
But it's another anchor you can, like, another thing you can focus on that's not your thoughts, you know?
How do we not self-sabotage ourselves with our thoughts? That's what we're trying to do all day. Because all day we have this primal brain that was created back in the day when we were supposed to save ourselves from getting attacked by fucking wolves and bears. But it's the landscape has changed, and now we just sabotage ourselves all day long.
Just sit and panic.
I think.
And then somebody cuts you off in traffic, or like right before a jump, and you're like, you know, or somebody sits in the landing, he's like, I could have killed you, like, but you didn't. Like, you don't have to give that attention.
Yeah,
you know?
just don't even give the stuff attention, the negative stuff.
And it's all connected too, because you look at the civil rights things that are happening, and like left versus right, and all these things. It's all somehow a lot of it's like mentally people that are not in a good place. A lot of the bad things that happen, and like even the, going back to the fear, and I think there's also a need to control right now, right? And there's uncertainty. So, what's going on with COVID? How long is it going to last? I don't know. My life's up in the air right now. I can't control it. I'm going to act like I need to control as a way to feel safe. But you can actually be okay with the uncertainty. That's another side of things.
Yeah,
like
but there's certain other things you can do as well. Like if you're a kid and you're getting a shit time from your friends or what you think are your friends right now, and you think that's just, this is life right now. We go to the mall or whatever, Starbucks or whatever it is, and like your friends are just like giving you shit all the time, always talking about negative shit, and you have something in you that's like, I just want to go do this, but like you have this like these like obstacles, you don't have to surround yourself with those people either. There's certain external things you can do to like, but if you don't know, like I said, bringing yourself to the present moment first and practicing that a little bit can help you to just see the bigger picture, because you're not cluttered so much with all these negative thoughts all the time that keep you in there, because that's like you start to identify with those thoughts and like, I am this or that. But you don't have to stay in there. You don't have to stay surrounded with those bad people either. Like, is your family really supporting you? Like,
yeah, that's a thing people get hung up on.
Do you want to just skate?
Huh?
Do you want to just paint? Like, what is it that you do? Like, what is it that you love that your surrounding people are like limiting you from doing? Like, oh, you're never going to make that, but you might.
Yeah.
And that's exciting,
that, right?
And that's cool. Like that's, you can get there's little things you can do.
Yeah, if you listened to everybody when you were a kid, you wouldn't have pursued snowboarding probably, huh?
Well, I mean, that's a kind of a sketchy tool in the toolbox, is hitting the rock bottom.
Yeah.
People sometimes have to hit rock bottom to be like,
to realize
fuck this,
what's going on.
Like
there's got to be
you can't get worse than this.
Yeah.
Like what if I just did what I wanted to do? I'm not saying go rob a bank.
What's that look like?
Like maybe give it a shot. Just try it, like, and then how does that make you feel? Was that good? Maybe there's something there, and then and then you're on your way, There's, I think also meditating or just taking a little time to yourself and not just looking externally all the time for what it might be, like pleasure or whatever, can open you up to see the train when it goes by.
Jump on it.
And then, because you might, if you're too busy up here, you might not see that train go by that's got an open cart and it's going real slow, but it's moving.
We started the bomb hole to talk about life bomb holes. I swear to God,
that's why we started this podcast.
And like, honestly, so I don't know,
I love what you guys are doing.
Thank
this
you.
is insane.
And you can't,
thank you guys.
You can't please
Thanks for
everybody
coming.
with some people are going to like it, some people aren't, but
I'm taking one of these mugs, by the way.
yeah, you are. Oh, you know what? You didn't get it right.
But we still like to send you off with a prize
We
pack.
are still going to send you off with a bomb hole prize pack. You got yourself a Stony Budz air freshener in there, which I need to put for sale on the site.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a igloo cooler and a shirt and some stickers. And put some kombucha in there or something, What are you going to put in there? Maybe some...
I just started drinking kombucha the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, no
This is
problem.
sick.
You started drinking some Booch, huh,
Some
Budz?
Booch, yeah.
All right, Budz.
Kind of backing it.
Maybe we get Budz a pro model Booch.
Let's get some Booch.
What if we started Budz's Booch?
Bud's kombucha.
I'm backing it.
Bud's
I'm
Booch.
backing it,
Let's
yeah.
do this, dude.
Nobody
calls it Booch either. That should.
Yeah.
We could call it Booch.
You don't have to make it virgin either.
Yeah, true. I heard there's some people who started that kombucha alcohol, huh? Seems like you shouldn't drink too much of that though, right? In one night. I don't know.
Oh, they're just trying to compete with those hard seltzers, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's why.
I want to get fucked
That's
up.
a good flavor,
and be
though.
healthy.
Yeah, I like the flavor. I like the.
It's got to moderate.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the new shit. The low calorie beers and I want to get fucked up, but I want to be super like crunchy and healthy.
Then you drink the kombucha.
You drink the Booch and you fucking.
I got another Patreon question, and
Awesome.
that's kind of on this. It's kind of on what we're talking about. Somebody, Brian Mills, wants to know if you fuck with the Norwegian drink aquavit. Is that something you've heard
yeah.
of? Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
so
thanks,
I don't know if
Brian.
I'd
Yeah,
say it
that's
right.
I usually only do it for like the holidays, for Christmas and stuff. It's like tradition.
What is it?
It's like a hard liquor, kind of. I would compare it to like a spiced rum, but not as sugary. And it's like a real traditional Norwegian liquor. And it's what they do. They craft it, they distill it, and then they put it in these barrels on a boat. Still to this day, and for it to be called akvavit, it has to be on a boat from Norway and go down past the equator and come back up, and then it can be sold or consumed. Because the rocking motion of the boat in the
Keeps
ocean,
it fermenting or whatever.
that's what makes it unique, and that's what makes it special.
What kind of biscuits we talking for a bottle of this stuff?
Oh, it's like the same as like a nice bottle of vodka or something.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the rocking of the ocean is what makes it the aquavit.
I mean, they probably have like versions of it that
Well, remember we were in Kazakhstan? They have that weird milk,
XO.
that milk beverage. The way that made
Milk with an E or milk?
milk,
Oh, okay.
but it was fermented camel's milk.
Oh, I do remember that. What
So-
was that, the restaurant?
The way they ferment that is they put it on the back of a horse and it has to move just like this on the water. So it's kind of, I think that's just
It's a cool
tactic.
process.
Yeah, it's just part of the process.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like, it's made to be more of like a digestive, I think. It's like
and
after
this is
you
a
eat like
digestive as well. That's
a
interesting.
huge Christmas meal, you know,
Yeah.
you have that to like
like
follow
an
it up.
aperitif or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice
Interesting.
though. I like the taste.
I'll have to try that out
Yeah.
next time I go to that area.
You never remember anything, but you remember the camel milk story.
I don't know,
What the
dude.
fuck's going
I
on,
have
dude?
no idea, dude. They also would hang the bag of it outside the house, and every neighbor had to walk by and punch the bag. And I guess that keeps it moving too.
Is that a thing?
That's a real thing, dude.
Wait, when we
With
were
this-
there?
yeah.
I don't remember this for the life of me.
I don't know, dude.
I don't remember punching any bags.
Well, we didn't. We were in a city. This is if you live in a town and
Oh,
you're making
okay.
the camel's milk.
The bag punch.
If you want to
Okay.
ferment the camel's milk, it has to keep moving.
Okay.
Like this stuff rocking in the boat. It's a similar idea, I guess.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's an aperitif. I don't know.
Well, Torstein, you got any other dockets of information you want to talk about?
Dockets.
Yeah, we're going dockets on them. We're going dockets.
This is another tool for the toolbox then, you know?
Just get people in here to talk and
Yeah, no, yeah, I gotta say I really like what you guys are doing. It's like you guys are
appreciate
spreading
that.
the good shit. you
dude,
know,
I
and,
never
like,
thought
it's-
we'd have you in this booth for a while too, because I didn't realize you were in Colorado. And
Yeah.
two, it's just I don't know, we have a lot of people hitting us up like you need to get some people from overseas. So it's rad. Not that
Well,
you
it's
live
tough
there
right
anymore,
now,
but
right?
Yeah.
It's just yeah, no, I haven't been able to go back to Norway for this whole time
But you can't
as
even
well.
yeah, it's probably
Well, if
hard.
I think there was a way you can get there now, but I don't know if I'd be able to come back and
yeah,
like
quarantine and
it's just been, you know.
you
it is
obviously
what
have
it is.
dual citizenship, huh?
No, I'm on a visa.
You are
I've been on the visa my whole career.
crazy. You
Why
just
are
have
you
to
choosing Rado instead of Oslo?
Well, I was there for a while, and then I started just spending more and more time here, and it just kind of reached that point where, like, this is where my life is right now, and like that's cool with me, and just had a lot of friends in Colorado, and like it made it just easier for traveling and just shooting and all that. And
That's
then,
a long trip. Huh?
yeah, I was trying to get a place in California for a while, but it just didn't work out. And I, you know,
You can buy a house on a visa.
yeah,
Just coming over on a visa.
yeah,
They'll take your money no matter what.
they like money,
Yeah.
you know.
If you got
And
the
it sounds
money
like
to
they
put
need
up,
it right now,
yeah,
too.
right now they're like, sweet.
Yeah, we'll take your
Yeah,
money.
so
You can't live here yet, but we'll sell you a house.
yeah, and you have to pay taxes here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What
for
if you
sure.
buy that house?
No,
or
the
just
whole
'cause you're
time.
making
Just
money?
because I'm my sponsors, like everyone that
If you're making money from
Pays
the
me,
U.S.,
yeah.
yeah, you got to pay U.S. taxes.
yeah, you got to pay it.
Jeez, but you can't be a citizen until they're ready for you.
Well, I could probably get a green
Yeah,
card or
at
something,
this
but
point.
yeah, I don't know. Colorado just seemed to fit at the time. I had a lot of friends there. My girlfriend was there at the time, and I just like the mountains.
What's your plan next then? What's the next move?
Just keep going.
Keep filming.
You know,
and
keep
having
staying in
fun?
it. You know,
Yeah.
like I think what we're doing right now with Shredbots and my filmer and good friend Craig Gowloos, who's actually a really good snowboarder as well. He lives in Squamish, Canada, and what we have going on right now is pretty sick. We're just Light was the last project that we put out together, and we're just gonna try to keep working together. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens this winter with Shredbots and stuff like that. But just keeping that going too, and whoever wants to put out dope edits and stuff, like we'll just keep the channel going, and I might keep trying to make some more videos on my personal YouTube channel. That's just my name, but that's just been fun. I've just been making a lot of music during the quarantine as well as everything else going
Making
on.
beats.
Yeah, if you haven't seen these videos, he takes like sounds of like hitting a water bottle and edits snowboarding to him. Definitely worth a watch. I got sucked in the wormhole and was just like sat there for however long that.
It's easy to get sucked into the YouTube hole.
Good, dude. Yeah.
It's a good hole though.
One video to the next, right?
Yeah,
Great hole.
Well, I love
a good
you.
hole.
Yeah, but oh, dude.
You seem to have like figured out YouTube. Like I feel like with Shredbots, it's a hard space to navigate. I honestly was like, oh, I'm gonna do a YouTube channel and start some shit. It's hard, man. It's like content is a hard game. I mean, this is what we're doing is different, but what you're doing is like you have a crazy following. It's cool. I mean,
No, I think you guys are doing it. There's no. I don't think there's a code to crack there. I think as long as, like, if you're putting out content and you're using the word content to put out more content, just to have more content out there, that might not be, the key. But if
you're using the word content, if you're using the word content, you're on the wrong trajectory.
To put out content about content.
if you're contenting all the time,
yeah.
But if you're like you guys, you just want to put out good stuff and be consistent with it because you enjoy putting out good shit and talking to good people and like yourselves and that's your focus is just to like, put out good stuff and make stuff. This is creative too, even the way you set up the cameras, the way you do the sound, like the way you have your garage set up. I know this is like probably pretty close to what it would look like anyways, but it's sick. It's like you
It's
are
starting
like
to evolve though.
There's a barrier there where like if you're just contenting, there's no like that's not a lot of personality. But if you're just you're opening up to show yourself and you're not scared of that, like that helps people, I think. Mm-hmm. And it helps me, like I listen to a lot of people, like whether it be snowboarders like yourselves or like spiritual teachers or authors or other just interesting people and like what they have to say, the ones that open up and give a little of themselves, where it's not like, in a movie or, like a pristine end product.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of raw, like that's sick too. And that's the code, I think.
That's
No, that's great. That's a great, very untangible, very statistical answer, but it's like, yeah, I love what you said there too. And going back to what you just said too, is like a lot of people they're like, oh, do you want to come on the podcast? Sure, yeah, I'd love to come on and talk about my accolades and essentially ego stroke to a degree, right? and no, but then you see the ones that people latch on to, and it's like when like somebody like yourself, we really appreciate because you opened up, you actually talked about some real shit. You didn't project that your life is fucking perfect, like some, like this, some people like to do that. So I really appreciate you coming, letting these people know, like, hey, we all got some shit going on, and I'm working on figuring it out.
Yeah, everyone's got a story.
Yeah, it's all the journey.
It's all good though.
Yeah.
100%. It's all good.
Yeah.
All good in the hood. What's crazy to me is how much you almost kind of downplay the contest that you killed it so hard at.
I don't, I don't identify with that anymore. Like I'm really thankful for that time and what it gave me.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of lessons there, and it was a good time. But we're here now.
Yeah, you're here now.
You don't want to be the guy at the bar at like age 50 being like, I fucking won the X Games. You should have seen me. Because, I don't know, I kind of, we all need that guy sometimes.
Well, that guy's always going to be there, but it's like that guy's a good teacher too, but he just doesn't know it.
Yeah, he doesn't
and you might be the guy who shows up to the bar like, I had a sick power run today.
Yeah.
And you're just basking in that moment still. And you're just
like,
you feel good. That's what's up.
Let's bask in this moment, dude. That is what it's all about, though, is staying present and staying hyped and moving with today. You know, I mean, geez.
Moment
Yeah.
basking, you could say.
What?
Just basking in the current
Just
moment.
basking.
A lot of basking.
Like a lizard in the sun?
Like Baskin Robbins.
Like Baskin Robbins? That's not the same Baskin.
All right. I feel like we fucking did it, man. We're starting to lose it a little bit. But
Dude, this coffee, man, is...
yeah, we're a little spracked out. I went on strong setting on the coffee today.
Do you always make it this strong?
I can only make it halfway down.
Yeah.
And yours was
Mine's
half
still
oat
half
milk.
full. Yeah.
I just went straight black that last cup, and it's like,
Just
It's mud.
Yeah.
straight mud.
Okay, well, you know what, guys? Torstein, we appreciate
Yeah,
having
thanks
you
for
on.
coming, Doug.
dude, thank you guys so much. I
Been an
really
honor.
appreciate this.
Love having you here. Love hearing your story.
I'm huge fans. I'm a huge fan of the show. I'm a huge fan of both of
We
you guys.
are also
Long-time
fans.
listener, first-time guest over here.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys. Don't be afraid to subscribe. Like this guy, he's got 1 million of them. You hit the button. Apparently, you get to see what you
You got
want.
1 million subscribers?
No.
No. It's like, damn, how many is it people that many people snowboard or what?
4.9 million on Horgasm, though. That's a
That's
fucking
views.
crazy view number.
But some of those people might have viewed a couple times. But that's a crazy number.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next week. Over and out
Peace.
from the bomb hole.
Thank you.